Su Ping continued, when I came to Liangpu, I immediately knew that the blood coral wasn't something I could touch. There were too many martial artists going Liangpu, and I had to accidentally stumble upon something. In the end, I was hunted, so I came to hide at Chun'an. Luckily, those people didn't follow. I was prepared to stay one more day at Chun'an, and then go to the 100,000 Great Mountains, but I met you here. I'm so happy you didn't die. Su Ping continued, when I came to Liangpu, I immediately knew that the blood coral wasn't something I could touch. There were too many martial artists going Liangpu, and I had to accidentally stumble upon something. In the end, I was hunted, so I came to hide at Chun'an. Luckily, those people didn't follow. I was prepared to stay one more day at Chun'an, and then go to the 100,000 Great Mountains, but I met you here. I'm so happy you didn't die. Yi Mo laughed. Su, brother, the person that got the blood coral is me. These people are going to Liangpu to rob my blood coral. Sorry, Su, brother, I had too many enemies before, and I didn't say my real name. I'm actually not called Moing. I'm Yi Mo. Su Ping gazed at Yi Mo for a long time before exclaiming in shock, Yi Mo, brother, you really are good. I didn't think that the blood coral was actually on you. This is such a surprise. Great, great, this is too great. Su Ping actually started laughing. His eyes were actually happy. Although he hadn't seen the blood coral, he had heard too many stories of it. To him, such a good thing was better in Yi Mo's hands than other people's hands. Yi Mo took out a porcelain vase and tipped out 2 qi-increasing pills to Su Ping and said, Su Ping, these are the pills made from the blood coral. I'll give you 2. You're yellow level tertiary stage now. When you go back, find a quiet place and eat a pill. Half a year later, eat another. These 2 can guarantee you to reach Earth level. Su Ping held the vase and was dumbfounded. After a long time, he reacted and quickly pushed the bottle back to Yi Mo. No, brother, this is too precious. I can't take it. Although he pushed it back to Yi Mo, Su Ping's heart was roaring with waves of shock. It could let yellow level reach Earth level. This was absurd. If people outside knew, they would slaughter anyone who stood in the way to it. But Su Ping had this principle. Although he desired for this pill, he knew that with his relationship to Yi Mo, this was too precious. Yi Mo pushed the bottle back and said, seriously, Su, brother, if you look down on me, then don't take it. You were willing to avenge me after hearing about my death. Giving you these 2 pills is nothing. Even the essence increasing pill to reach great heaven states, I can help you get, much less these 2 qi increasing pills. Plus, if it wasn't for your material, my flying sword wouldn't be able to be completed. If we're talking about owing, then it's me who owes you. Luo Xian looked at the 2 in shock. A pill to reach Earth level, and he gave 2. She knew the value of this pill because she had won. And these 2, one was giving it away, and the other didn't want it. What was flying sword? Yi Mo also said that he could make the pill to reach great heaven state. If this got out, the small world would be flipping over. Okay, Yi brother, if I'm still going to push it away, it would be acting up. If Yi brother you don't mind, we'll do what they did in the ancient times and swear as brothers. Su Ping no longer rejected and took the pills. Whether it was real or fake, Yi Mo was someone who could become brothers with in his eyes. Yi Mo stood up. Of course, let us be sworn brothers here today. I have a big brother called Xiao Chongdong. Although Xiao brother isn't here today, let us swear in brotherhood together. Su Ping also stood up and said, sure, a man whom you can call big brother definitely is a true man. The 2 used tea as wine and became sworn brothers. Luo Xian looked at the side in admiration, but she wasn't a man. If she was a man, perhaps she would also rise up the intent to swear in brotherhood with someone like Yi Mo, 3rd brother, 2nd brother. They finished the oath and stood up. They looked at each other and laughed out loud. If there's peach tree garden here, then you guys can relive the history of swearing brotherhood in the peach gardens Luo Xian smiled. TL note. Swearing brotherhood in the Peach Gardens was a historical event of the Three Kingdoms era where 3 people swore brotherhood in the Peach Gardens. Luo Xian approved of Yi Mo from the bottom of her heart, regardless if he could make the essence increasing pill from how he could casually give Su Ping the chi increasing pill. It meant that he was no ordinary person. Plus, with her knowledge of him, Yi Mo was indeed a mystery, but he seemed very generous. Yi Mo took out a curved sword he made before and gave it to Su Ping, and then gave him 3 lotus life seeds and said, "Second brother, I made this sword for you. Try it out, and these pills. No matter how serious your wounds are, as long as you haven't died, you can recover from it. Take these." Su Ping took the curved sword and tapped it on the corner of the table. The table corner fell off immediately. He looked at the sword in surprise. Good sword. Good sword. I didn't think, third brother, you can craft weapons as well." Luo Xian saw that the sword in Su Ping's hands was this sharp and was also taken back. This sword could be called God's weapons. Yet Yi Mo gave it away again so easily. Yi Mo saw Su Ping take these things and then asked, "Second brother, what did you hear about? Why were you forced to Chun?" And Su Ping said hatefully, "It's the He Lu sect people. These bastards are too atrocious. A few days ago, I heard that they were going to Beijing to exterminate the entire Yi family to get revenge. I just walked past. Of course I won't care about such thing." "What?" Yi Mo stood up abruptly, and his eyes were full of killing intent. Although there wasn't much connection between the Yi family and him, his sister Yi Ling and brother Yi Zifeng were still there. These He Lu sect people wanted to bring his family into this. They didn't want to live. "Third brother Yu? Are you from the Beijing Yi family?" Su Ping suddenly woke up. Yi Mo's face was bleak like water as he nodded. "Although I'm not the Yi family member now, I still have a brother and sister there. If something happens to them, I will pull the He Lu sect from its roots. Third brother, let's stop talking. We should hurry to Beijing. Even if it costs my life, I won't let the He Lu sect bastards succeed." Su Ping's face changed drastically and was full of regret. He actually didn't find out that the Beijing Yi family was his third brother's family. Yi Mo shook his head. "Second brother, if they have already done so, it's no use going now. If they haven't, then I am enough to deal with them. They had a few Earth levels masters killed by me, so this time it should be all Earth levels going. Second brother, you won't be able to help me now if you go." Su Ping nodded. He wasn't unhappy at all at Yi Mo's words. He had seen Yi Mo's power. Yi Mo was really strong and killed 2 black level peak stage masters easily. Now, Yi Mo said that he killed a few Earth level masters. This meant that his power surged up drastically. Was he really a great heaven level master? "Second brother, do you have any place to go? If you don't, you can go to Flowing Snake first. I've made a company at Flowing Snake called Luo Yu. You should be able to cultivate in peace there." Yi Mo said. Su Ping immediately said, "Okay, I will wait for you at Flowing Snake." Yi Mo nodded. "I made the company to collect all the spirit things in the world and make pills with them. Second brother, don't worry. I will make you reach great heaven for sure." Then Yi Mo turned and said to Luo Xian, "Sorry, Luo Xian, I'm going back to Beijing immediately. If possible, I will come back to help you find the book tonight. If not, then you can only go look for it by yourself. I'll give you your book back first." Yi Mo took out that Ni Luo Sutra and gave it to Luan Xian. Luo Xian took the book. She didn't know where Yi Mo put the book, but still nodded and said, "MHM, I know. It's fine even if you don't help me. I know what book I'm looking for now. Perhaps I would be able to find it in half a day. If I find it, I will save that thing for you. If I'm not at home today, then go to Inghua Temple 30 miles east of here. I will wait for you there." Yi Mo and Su Ping didn't hide anything from her during their conversation. And perhaps influenced by them, she didn't think much and told them where she would be. After the three split, Su Ping went towards Flowing Snake, and Luo Xian went towards the library. Yi Mo found an empty place and stood on his flying sword and sped like lightning towards Beijing. Beijing Yi family, although due to Yi Mo's rampage, it no longer had that temperament before. People didn't even see the young masters of the Yi family being cocky on the streets, but the people who knew the inside information wouldn't think so. Only people who had power in Beijing would know that despite the Yi family losing their previous temperament, it actually became a lot stronger than before instead. No family would have the courage to give the family leader position to a youth in his 20s, but the Yi family did. The current leader of the Yi family, Yi Zifeng, was only 23. And this was the only case. People who knew didn't laugh at Yi family at all because Yi Beirong's move was magnificent. Ever since Yi Zifeng took over the family leader, the Li family and Chao family rushed to show their good intentions. And this new election, the support for the Yi family increased drastically. This wasn't it. Even Han Zixin went to the Yi family to visit Yi Beirong many times. This was all because people knew that Yi Zifeng had a brother called Yi Mo, and he was incredibly strong. But today, the Yi family mansion seemed serious and silent. Not only was it surrounded by anti-violence police, but there was the smell of blood coming from inside. At this moment, the Yi family mansion had been locked down, and people weren't allowed near. At this moment in the Yi family mansion, there were 10 coffins, all containing direct lineage of the Yi family. But Yi Beirong sat in the meeting hall with a bleak face, not saying anything. At this moment in the Yi family mansion, there were 10 coffins, all containing direct lineage of the Yi family. But Yi Beirong sat in the meeting hall with a bleak face, not saying anything. The words of those people who came still rung by his ears. Yi Beirong, the first day is 10 people, the second day will be 50. If we don't see Yi Mo by the third day, the Yi family will disappear from Beijing. This was the second day. Although there were a lot of anti-riot policemen here, no one dared to open fire. No one knew when they would appear and where. It could be said that they were ordered to protect the Yi family, but did not receive orders to kill the perpetrators. Yi Beirong knew what was going on, of course. This was because the country's negotiation with the hidden sects was that both sides must not start a conflict. If the government started trouble with the hidden sects, or even killed the people in the hidden sects could kill the offender, and the government must not intervene. If someone or a sect damaged the government's interests, the government could destroy this person or sect at all cost, and the rest of the sects must not intervene. But the reasons the government could tolerate the existence of the hidden sects might be due to that there were indeed powerful people in the hidden sects and could destroy a place easily. But a more important reason was that the hidden sects were an important part of the country. Even in the hidden international battles, the main source of power of the country was from the hidden sections. Now, Yi Mo started feud with the He-Lu sect of the hidden sects and killed 7 of them. Thus, the He-Lu sect came for revenge. If Han Zixin didn't intervene, perhaps the first day, the He-Lu sect would have annihilated the entire Yi family. Even though Han Zixin intervened, he only delayed it for 2 days, and at the cost of many lives of the Yi family. The normal citizens wouldn't know at all that there were hidden sects in this world, much less the crisis the Yi family was facing now. The He-Lu sect people are too cocky this time. Do they really think we're afraid of them? Zhang Ju was very angry. He was the first to go over when the incident at the Yi family occurred, but yesterday he was injured. If it wasn't for his identity, perhaps he would have been killed like the others. Han Zixin shook his head. Of course we're not afraid, but we can't annihilate them all. If they really want to annihilate the Yi family, no matter how many anti-riot policemen we send, it would be useless. You can kill 1 or 2, but can you kill everyone in the hidden sects? The country can't just kill off the hidden sections. Elder Tan should be great heaven now, right? Wouldn't it be very easy for him to deal with a He-Lu sect that doesn't have great heaven state. Zhang Ju hesitated for a moment and said, he was quite close to Emo, and now that the He Lu sect people were going to kill all of the Yi family, of course, he wasn't going to watch. But he was no match and couldn't see the He Lu sect people going into the Yi family mansion. He had nowhere to use his power, and he knew that the Elder Han's words were right. If they really wanted to kill off the Yi family, there was no use even if they guarded the mansion every day. Han Zixin didn't answer Zhang Ju's question directly and said, Elder Tan also came from the hidden sects, so did Elder Feng. Plus, there are many masters in the hidden sections. Who knows if they have great heaven-level masters or not? Plus, the hidden sects have always had contributions to the country. If we completely side with the Yi family on this, it's not suitable. But the Yi family was different from the O family. Elder Tan wouldn't ignore it. He would probably persuade the He Lu sect to let the Yi family go. However, Yi Mo haven't appeared now, so he can't really say it yet. Humph. The Yi family is too cocky. That Yi Mo dare kill multiple people from the He Lu sect. I heard that the Broken Fist Hall was also annihilated due to him. If this Yi Mo doesn't give us an explanation, I won't intervene with the Yi family business. A cold voice sounded, and Han Zixin and Zhang Ju were shocked. Zhang Ju immediately went into the mansion and checked, and then came out. That was Elder Tan. He probably came and left. Han Zixin frowned, and after a while, he sighed. Yi Mo killed too many this time and angered Elder Tan. Zhang Ju, don't contact him anymore. Even if Yi Mo came back, it wouldn't help at all, but only get himself killed. Yi family, sigh. But hearing what Elder Tan just said, as long as Instructor Yi comes, he will help mediate the situation, Zhang Ju immediately said. Han Zixin shook his head, but didn't say anything. Zhang Ju didn't understand Tan Jiao, but he did. Tan Jiao was very loyal to the country, but so was he to the hidden sect. It was impossible to let someone like him let go Yi Mo, who killed many people of the He Lu sect, which was one of the 6 big sections. And according to him, the Broken Fist Hall also fell in Yi Mo's hands. It could be seen that Tan Jiao already had prejudice against Yi Mo. This time, he was going to use the He Lu sect to kill Yi Mo. At this moment, in the Mi-Yang Lake in Beijing, inside a bamboo building, there were 2 elderly men in their 50s sitting opposite to each other. Beside them stood a woman about 25 to 26 years old. This woman seemed very elegant and peaceful. Elder Tan, after a year of solitary training, your tempers seem to have grown. Are you really going to let the He Lu sect people kill off the Yi family? The man wearing gray robes asked worriedly. Another lean-built man with white top sneered, This Yi Mo is too arrogant and very cruel. Yuan was quite possibly murdered by him. I even suspect that he annihilated the Qiao family, but Han Zixin is helping him, saying that the Qiao family incident isn't related to him. This time, not only did he annihilate the Broken Fist Hall, but also killed multiple people of the He Lu sect. If I'm still going to keep him alive, how will I face the Dao colleagues in the hidden sect? The gray-clothed man sighed. The president has spoken. The Yi family situation is different from the O family and Song family. The 2 are suspected of selling the country, but Yi family isn't. If we annihilate them, the president wouldn't allow this to happen. Our great China just suddenly have one of its big families being exterminated. Even the Song family is living well in another province. Plus, the president has a good impression of that Yi Mo. Tan Jiao's face sunk. I owe Song Yuan. This will be repayment to him. I didn't expect, in our time of solitary training, such a monster appeared. I will talk with the president. The Yi family doesn't need to be killed all, but murder must be paid with life. We'll let the He Lu sect kill some to ease their anger, but Yi Ling and Yi Zifeng must die. Why can he, Mo, kill people, but others can't kill him? The gray-robed man sunk in silence for a moment before saying, I know that you're being like this because Song Yuani and Gong Zizai died in Yimo's hands. But the country has laws. If we do things according to the hidden sect's fashion for everything, the government won't allow it. The hidden sects are strong, but if they fight with the army of the country, the ambitious forces around will use this opportunity to attack our country. Then what would be the point of us martial arts cultivators? What face do we have to go see our ancestors? Seeing the bleak-faced Tan Jiao, the gray-robed man said again. Plus, this time we went into solitary training together, and you reached to greater heaven first. It could be said you're at the pinnacle of this world. The more powerful you are, the more careful you need to be, or one mistake is the endless pit. Wait another day. If Yi Mo still doesn't come back today, Yi Ling and Yi Zifeng must die. As for the others, we'll have to see what the He Lu sect people say. Even if the He Lu sect people plan to come, it wouldn't be now. They would wait till night. Tan Jiao said. The gray-robed man said disappointedly. I heard old Han say that Yi Mo is quite a valuable person, but he's just too aggressive. Sai, he needs to learn a lesson. Young people, too much arrogance. Second uncle, how about we let Yi Ling and Yi Zifeng leave first? The Yi family meeting room was suffocating, and Yi Long started. Yi Beirong shook his head. No use. Yi Zifeng already had his leg broken by them, and I'm sure that if one person leaves alone, he would be killed by them immediately. Although we don't see them anywhere, as soon as one of us goes out, they would come out. I won't go. My brother will definitely come back after he hears news of this. Yi Ling rubbed her red eyes and said. There was a clear palm print on her face. Yesterday was a disaster to the Yi family. If Elder Han didn't come, who knew how many more? They were going to be killed. Second brother just said one sentence and had his legs broken. The reason they didn't kill him was to wait for Yi Mo to come back. The same was for her as well. They said they would kill her and her second brother in front of their big brother to let big brother know the consequence of messing with the hidden sections. As soon as she said this, some people already started looking at her with animosity. This thing was completely due to Yi Mo. If it wasn't for Yi Mo, the Yi family wouldn't suffer such a huge disaster. Yet, the one causing the trouble didn't even come back. If they didn't fear Yi Mo's revenge, they would have started swearing already. Yi Beirong looked around and knew how these people thought. He just said plainly, this is a life and death situation for our family, not a time to complain. If it wasn't for Yi Mo, perhaps our Yi family would have been long devoured by the Song family. Grandpa, why is no one here? A young member of the family said. Yi Long scanned him and said, the flying snow and anti-riot police are out there to protect us, but is there any use? When they left, did anyone catch a culprit? And I'm sure when they come today, no one would notice as well. You're right. We have come, but no one noticed us indeed. If our He Lu sect wants to annihilate your family, there's no use even if the Heavenly Emperor comes. A bleak voice continued Yi Long's words. Before the sound finished, 4 men suddenly appeared in the meeting room. No one even saw how they walked in. Oh, your He Lu sect people are this cocky? But you really took the words right out of my mouth. Even if the Heavenly Emperor comes, Yi Mo, will still annihilate the He Lu sect. An even colder voice sounded. Oh, your He Lu sect people are this cocky? But you really took the words right out of my mouth. Even if the Heavenly Emperor comes, Yi Mo, will still annihilate the He Lu sect. An even colder voice sounded. Brother. Yi Ling was the first to react and rushed over into Yi Mo's arms. Who hit you? Yi Mo saw the red and swollen face of Yi Ling and immediately surged with fury. At the same time, he put his hand on Yi Ling's face, and with the use of qi, the internal blood was removed, and soon her face recovered to be smooth. The 4 looked at Yi Mo, and a sliver of surprise went across their eyes. They also don't know when Yi Mo came in, but they reacted quickly. They immediately split into four, cornering Yemo. They were thinking that Yemo should be in China now. How did he appear in Beijing? But since he came, he wouldn't be able to leave. I hit her, and I also smacked out her 2 teeth. So what? Oh, I forgot to tell you. I also broke the Yi Zifeng's leg. This wasn't it. You saw the 10 coffins outside? They were all killed by me. Originally, I wanted to go to Chun and to kill you, but you came here yourself. Ha ha, perfect. The short man amongst the four jeered. Yemo's eyes were ice cold. Although he knew that Yiling wasn't his biological sister, but she was still his sister in his heart, and was no different to Tang Beiwei. Now, someone dared to insult Yiling like this, he could no longer control the fury in his heart. It is perfect. As soon as Yemo spoke, he came in front of the short man and grabbed his chest. He raised his hand, and there were countless slaps. The short man couldn't even struggle in Yemo's hands. He could only open his eyes and look as Yemo kept slapping his face. The sound of beating echoed across the hall. When the other 3 reacted, Yemo came back to Yiling's side. That short man he beat up was casually dumped on the ground. He was shriveled like a shrimp, and the other 3 could tell that all the meridians in his body were destroyed. The short man no longer had any flesh on his face, much less teeth. There were only bones at his face. Yet there were no signs of blood on Yemo's hand. It was clean as though he had done nothing. You're asking to die. Another man also reacted and pierced towards Yemo with his long sword. It was fast like lightning. Clank! The long sword pierced towards Yemo was sliced apart by Yemo and fell on the ground. Then Yemo's hand flashed, and this man was decapitated. Blood splurged out, but the body was a few meters away from Yemo. No one saw how Yemo broke the sword, nor did they see how Yemo decapitated the man. All they could see was a purple light. After a clank, this man lost his head. Seeing the body on the ground, and the shorty who had no flesh on his face, the remaining 2 men immediately went pale. Yemo, was this petrifying? Did he surpass Great Heaven? Even the Great Heaven State wouldn't be able to kill people as cleanly and swiftly as him. This was instant kill. At this moment, the 2 men actually stood dumbfounded. Yemo sneered, "Mere 4 Earth-level fighters dare to start trouble here. You Lu sect think too highly of yourself." Yi Beirong looked at Yemo in shock. He didn't even dare to believe Yemo came from the Yi family. Mere 4 Earth-level fighters? God. Even one was enough to easily decimate the 5 great families, but he said a mere 4 Earth levels. Who was this grandson of his? Yi Beirong shivered and looked at the Yi family people in the room. Some of them were vomiting, and immediately ordered all members of the Yi family leave. "There's no business for you here. Beiguang, you go out and take care of the burial of the dead of Ye's family. Yi Long, you stay." Then Yi Beirong looked at the pale-faced He Lu sect warriors and surged with excitement. He seemed to have returned to that warring era as hot blood coursed through his veins. Earth-level martial artist actually stood shakily in the hall of the Yi family. Looking at the 2, Yi Beirong just wanted to laugh out loud. He wanted to let out the satisfaction in his heart. But when he thought of the deceased, who had been ridiculed and insulted yesterday, he felt despondent again. "What do you want?" the older man said shakily. At this moment, the 2 were standing still, shivered in terror. They now knew the terror of Yemo. No wonder he could easily kill many people of the He Lu sect. With his power, it was very easy for him to kill the entire sect. Funny that they were laughing about bodies everywhere in the Yi family, and how the Yi family was begging on their knees when they just came into Ye's mansion just now. There was begging, but it wasn't from Yemo. It was from them. The He Lu sect was over. It messed with someone they shouldn't have. They were over too. They had never encountered such a master. It was their bad luck. Before they came, if someone said that Yemo killed Earth levels like scarecrow dummies, they would have thought that person was dumb or crazy. But now The reality was in front of their eyes. Now, they understood that there were really such masters in the world. The era of the hidden sect standing at the top of the world had passed, all because a monster like Yi-Mo appeared. Unless the hidden sect had a great heaven-level master, otherwise no one would be a match for Yi-Mo in the entire outer hidden sect. It was way too easy for him to kill a sect. If he said he was going to exterminate the He-Lu sect, he wasn't scaring them. It was the truth. Yi-Mo sneered. "What do I want? You came to Beijing to kill my brother and my sister, yet you ask me what do I want? You just said that the Yi family was going to disappear from Beijing. Why are you asking me now? How can you let us go? Whatever you want we can do for you." The one begging was the older man. Yi-Mo reached out his hand, and 2 fireballs flew out. The body, and that still struggling earth level, immediately turned to dust. Inner chi condensing into fire, the older man's face went even paler. He had already tried to overestimate Yi-Mo, but he just realized that he was far from understanding Yi-Mo's true power. Inner chi condensing into fire. It was said that even great heavens couldn't do that, but this young man did it. Their He-Lu sect deserved to be annihilated. He wasn't even thinking about the He-Lu sect now. He was thinking about his own safety. Yi Qianbei. As long as Qianbei will have mercy on me and spare Si Hong's life, I'm willing to tell Qianbei where the He-Lu sect is. That older man saw Yi-Mo fire out the fireball and could no longer control the fright in his heart and knelt down. When death comes, he found that he wasn't willing to die at all. He still had wishes unfulfilled. How could he die like this? The hidden sect ancient martial arts cultivators were prideful, but no matter how prideful they still feared in the wake of death. Because other than old age, there was no one who could take their lives. But now, Yi-Mo just reached his hand, and he could kill them. If he had another chance, he would rather hide in a place for the rest of his life than see Yi-Mo. Now, he understood that it was very easy for hidden sect Earth-level masters to die. "Let you go? You killed so many people, and you want me to let you go?" Yi-Mo sneered. "I didn't kill the Yi family people, Qianbei. It really wasn't me." Hong Si suddenly thought that he hadn't killed a single Yes person. Perhaps he could really survive, and his desire to live strengthened. "I killed the people. Give me your life." The man who didn't talk at all suddenly jumped up. His sword turned into a beam and rushed for Yi-Mo's head. If Yi-Mo was still stage 3 chi gathering, he could only barely dodge this and use his flying sword to kill the opponent. But Yi-Mo knew that this sword was far from the full combo. Even if he dodged it, there would be more moves after it. Perhaps before he used his flying sword, he would be at a disadvantage. But now, Yi-Mo wouldn't give him a chance. His flying sword was far superior than the speed the man could attack. Before his beam reached Yi-Mo, Yi-Mo's flying sword had cut his wrist. At the same time, he kicked on this man's dantian. This whole process only took one breath, and it was already over. This man was kicked flying out and fell onto the ground, spitting blood. His soulless eyes glanced at Yi-Mo and suddenly yelled, "Gong Chunyan, you animal!" Before he finished, he died. Hong Si, who still knelt on the ground, looked sadly at the man, who had his dantian shattered by Yi-Mo's kick. He felt more fear. This was the second time, yet he still couldn't see what Yi-Mo used to cut his companion's wrist. He only saw a pale purple ray fade away. But what gave him a deeper impression was that kick. That kick shattered his companion's dantian. Yi-Mo just looked plainly at Hong Si, who knelt on the ground and didn't talk. Hong Si couldn't tolerate the choking silence of death and said shakily, this time it was the Elder Gong Zizai's idea to come out and rob the blood coral. Elder Gong is Earth-level tertiary stage. He wanted to use the blood coral to ascend, but he died in Qianbei's hands. Gong Chunyan is the brother of Gong Zizai. He wanted revenge for Elder Gong. So. Seeing that Yi-Mo had a bleak face and remained silent, Hong Si felt more uneasy. He hesitated before saying again, "Today, we received news from Liang Qixing of Ping River. He said Qianbei was at Chanan. So, we were prepared to exterminate the Yi family in midday to prevent Elder Tan and Feng from stopping us. After that, we were planning to go with the people Liang Qixing invited to ambush Qianbei at Chanan. We didn't expect, seeing that Yi Mo had a bleak face and remained silent. Hong Si felt more uneasy. He hesitated before saying again, "Today, we received news from Liang Qixing of Ping River. He said Qianbei was at Chanan. So, we were prepared to exterminate the Yi family in midday to prevent Elder Tan and Feng from stopping us. After that, we were planning to go with the people Liang Qixing invited to ambush Qianbei at Chanan. We didn't expect." "Liang Qixing? Is he related to Hukuming?" Yi Mo remembered that middle-aged man he saw at the Hu family. Hong Si quickly nodded and said, "Yes, he's Hukuming's martial brother. They are from the Ping River sect. The Ping River sect is fading and only Hukuming and Liang Qixing remain, who are Elder Tan and Feng." Yi Mo thought that since the He Lu sect was going to kill the Yi family people, who else would be able to stop them? Since they were going to stop them, why didn't they do so when they killed 10 people of the Yi family yesterday? Tan and Feng means Tan Jiao and Luan Qing Feng. They came from the hidden sect, but now they don't belong to the hidden sect. They are in the Heaven Squad, Hong Si said, and then looked at Yi Mo, and could tell he didn't know what Heaven Squad was. He quickly explained again, Heaven Squad means martial artists who have surpassed Earth level peak stage, but can't reach great heaven state. They chose to go into the mortal world to seek opportunity to break through great heaven. But all the Heaven Squad martial artists must make contributions to the country. They mediate between the hidden sects and the government. They also deal with things normal people can't deal with in the government. But since such things never occurred before, so they usually just need to worry about cultivation. This is because the people in the Heaven Squad need large amount of cultivation resources, and these resources are provided by the government. Yi Mo understood immediately. They are people who sit on the country's resources but don't do anything and beautify themselves in the name of Heaven Squad. They are really shameless, thinking that he was running around everywhere in search of spirit things and was almost hunted down for a blood quarrel at Liangpu. Compared to him, these Heaven Squad people were taking it too easy. Hong Si saw Yi Mo's face, wasn't happy, and quickly said, "He Heaven Squad does do missions as well. They need to go out and search for talented younger generations to prepare human resources for the country. They also need to stay there to prevent the hidden sect from damaging the government. Are there a lot of these people surpassed Earth level peak stage? This means they are halfway great heaven state." Hong Si shook his head. "Not many. You can count half great heaven state people with one hand. It's said the strongest is Wu Dao Qianbei, and Tan and Feng are catching up to Wu Dao Qianbei. So, they are the pinnacle masters of this world." Yi Mo said coldly, "Since there are Tan and Feng here, you still dare to come annihilate the Yi family at Beijing?" Hong Si quickly said, "It's said that the He Lu sect power exceeds Tan and Feng, and it's said that the elder of He Lu sect Gong Zizai is Tan Jiao's friend. So, Yi Mo immediately knew what was going on, but his previous guess was right. Han Zixin hid things from him indeed. The country's power was far from what the flying squad showed. There was a Heaven Squad behind them, but they just didn't do much. He also understood why Han Zixin didn't stop the He Lu sect from ravaging the Yi family. It was because he couldn't mobilize the Heaven Squad, and Tan Jiao and Gong Zizai were friends. He killed Gong Zizai. Of course, Tan Jiao wasn't happy. Where is He Lu sect? Yi Mo knew the full story and immediately had killing intent for Tan Jiao. Hong Si felt Yi Mo's killing intent and shook immediately. He quickly replied, "It's located in Qiyang Mountain, Shadow Cliff Valley. Give me the key." Yi Mo already knew that if you wanted to enter the hidden sect, you needed something like a key. It's on Elder Chu. Elder Chu already went to Chunin to ambush you. Hong Si didn't dare to hide anything at all. Yi Mo looked coldly at Hong Si and said indifferently, "Are you going to do it yourself, or make me do it?" Hong Si didn't expect that Yi Mo was still going to kill him after saying so much. He felt all was lost. He really regretted coming to this, but he thought again. Even if he didn't come here, Yi Mo would still find He Lu sect eventually, so it would be the same. He Lu sect was over, but he really didn't want to die like this. He got an ancient martial arts cultivation method before, and after he reached yellow level, he dumped his wife and son searching desperately for Tao. He finally found the He Lu sect and was able to enter it due to his good potential. After decades of arduous cultivation, he reached Earth level, but he was still going to die here today, even though he knelt down and begged for mercy. Even though he told the Qianbei everything, Qianbei, Wanbei offended Qianbei. It's understandable that Qianbei is going to kill me. Qianbei, please allow me to go back and see the wife and son I haven't seen in a few decades. This is my last hope. As long as I finish this, I will come back to accept death. Before this, Wanbei is willing to destroy my Dan Tian. Then, Hong Si palmed his Dan Tian and spat out blood. With Yi Mo's eyes, he could tell that Hong Si's Dan Tian was really destroyed. "Brother, this person is quite pitiful. Let him go." And yesterday he didn't kill anyone. Although Yi Mo's killing intent for Hong Si didn't change, Yi Ling softened her heart and wanted Yi Mo to let him go. For an ancient martial artist whose Dan Tian was destroyed, it didn't even matter if he was dead or not. But because he had such power before, ordinary people still were no match for him. In that case, go. It really didn't matter if he killed Hong Si, who had lost all his power. Hong Si's eyes shot out with surprise and joy. He quickly stood up and thanked, "I'm very grateful to Qianbei for having mercy on me. Wanbei will go back to see my wife and son. Then I will come back to accept death." Yi Mo waved his hand. "Since I let you go, there's no need to come back to accept death." Yi Beirong saw the opportunity and immediately said to Yi Long, "Send Hong Si out." Yi Ling quickly agreed and took Hong Si and left the meeting room. After he walked past Yi Mo, the way he looked at Yi Mo was fearful. Yi Beirong felt his tone was dry. He didn't know how to face this theoretical grandson of his. Yi Mo said plainly, "I am me. Although my name is also Yi, it has nothing to do with the Beijing Yi family. You don't need to mind me." Yi Beirong opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but he couldn't say a single word for a long time. He knew that the Yi family wronged Yi Mo, not the other way around. If Yi Mo didn't rely on himself, he would have died at Ninghai already. So, he had no right to say anything to Yi Mo. Plus, putting Yi Zifeng as the leader of the family was an obvious attempt to use Yi Mo. It was already great of him not to be angry over this. Although Yi Zifeng was not bad, he was obviously not eligible to be leader in his 20s, but why was he still family leader? It was all because of Yi Mo, brother, grandpa. Yi Ling wanted to say something, but was stopped by Yi Mo. "Take me to see Yi Zifeng. After this, I'm going to leave here for some business." Yi Ling was part of the Yi family, and he didn't want to say anything nor change anything, but Yi Mo had his own principles. Just because he cared about Yi Zifeng and Yi Ling, it didn't mean he needed to care about the Yi family. Just when Yi Ling wanted to go, Yi Mo suddenly pulled her and said, "Wait." Then he burnt the remaining body to ashes. Yi Mo just finished cleanup, and Han Zaixin and Zhang Zhu rushed in worriedly. "Yi Mo, you actually came back? How can you come back at this time? Quickly leave. Take your brother and sister. Go now. Leave Beijing as far as possible." Seeing Yi Mo, Han Zaixin dazed for a moment and quickly urged him to leave. Yi Mo felt touched. Although Elder Han was a bit calculative, he was quite loyal in times of need. He was also calculated for the country. Zhang Ju also saw Yi Mo and was very excited. He also came up and said, at night, the He-Lu sect people are going to come. You really need to leave. They are all earth-level masters. A casual palm smashed me far away, and you are injured. Yi Mo grabbed Zhang Ju's hand and knew that he was internally injured. Han Zixin sighed. Yes, Zhang Ju came to help yesterday, but the He-Lu sect people were too strong. Zhang Ju wasn't a match at all. If it wasn't for his status, perhaps he would have died. Elder Tan already said, Zifeng and Yi Ling need to be given to the He-Lu sect to appease their anger, so you should leave quickly. Yi Mo was immediately triggered. He did the things. Why must Zifeng and Yi Ling be sent to the He-Lu sect? This Tan bastard doesn't want to live. Humph. A deep sneer sounded. Other than Yi Mo, everyone felt their mind rupture. Yi Mo casually patted his sister, and Yi Ling recovered. A white-robed man whose age could not be told suddenly appeared in the Yi family meeting room. Since you came back, there's no need for you to go. I'll take you 3 to the He-Lu sect. Old Han, this time I decide. Hearing the white-robed man's words, Han Zixin's heart sunk. He knew he came late. Yi Mo could no longer leave now. Zhang Ju felt all hope was lost. He knew that even he wanted to do something to help Yi Mo, but in front of Elder Tan, it was all pointless. Although other people didn't see how Tan Zhao came, Yi Mo saw very clearly. He glided in from outside. This martial art was a bit like the wind control Yi Mo used, but it was inferior to wind control. Although other people didn't see how Tan Zhao came, Yi Mo saw very clearly. He glided in from outside. This martial art was a bit like the wind control Yi Mo used, but it was inferior to wind control. Yi Mo sneered. He wanted to ask where this old fart lived before, but now he sent himself here instead. Before Yi Mo could talk, another man suddenly entered. He wore gray robes and seemed in his 50s. The gray-robed man stopped Tan Zhao. Old Tan, the incident is between the He-Lu sect, and Yi Mo don't harm his family. I know Gong Zizai is your friend, but even if you want revenge, it should be at Yi Mo. It has nothing to do with other people. Qingfeng brother, are you going to stop me as well? Tan Zhao frowned. The gray-robed man sighed. I'm not stopping you. It's for your good. Yi Mo is only in his 20s, and he can kill 7 of the He-Lu sect people, including Gong Zizai. People say don't insult a young person's poverty. How do you know if he can't reach great heaven later? He's also the head instructor of the Flying Snow. Strictly saying, we're on the same line. Why are you doing things so cruelly? The Yi family is in trouble now. It's very easy for us to help the Yi family. I think if Yi Mo knew, he would also appreciate it. Even if we don't help, we can't go help others kill his brother and sister. Tan Zhao sneered. Too bad. He doesn't have any chance now because I'm going to kill him immediately. The gray-robed man just realized that Tan Zhao looked at Yi Mo full of killing intent. He immediately understood the person in front of him was Yi Mo, and Yi Mo had come back. You are Yi Mo? The gray-robed man asked Yi Mo, with some surprise. Yi Mo was quite famous, and it was his first time seeing this young man. Yi Mo smiled. Indeed, I'm Yi Mo. The gray-robed man had some pity in his eyes. He realized he couldn't even see how strong Yi Mo was, and Yi Mo was calm and confident. If Tan Zhao didn't reach great heaven state, he could still stop him, but now he wasn't even a match for Tan Zhao. How could he stop him? You killed the He-Lu sect people. I can't help you, but I'll try to persuade old Tan to let go of your brother and sister. Sigh. Luo Qingfeng thought, why did you come back? If you didn't, I could still say something and blame everything on you, but since you came back, I really can't say anything. Yi Mo smiled to Luan Qingfeng. No matter what, I still need to thank Qianbei for your goodwill. But this old thing, Yi Mo pointed at Tan Jiao and swore, "Old thing, I didn't do anything to you. What right do you have to touch my brother and my sister? Is it just because you are stronger than other people? Shameless thing." "It's over." Han Zixin sighed. Young people really didn't know when to back down. "Since Elder Foam came to speak for you, if you spoke some soft words, perhaps Elder Tan would really let you go. But Old Thing and Shameless, when this came out, Han Zixin immediately knew it was over." Wan Qingfeng opened his mouth and wanted to say something but couldn't. He finally witnessed the arrogance of Yi Mo that Tan Jiao was talking about. He actually pointed at a great heaven master and called him Old Thing. "Even if you want to die, you don't have to do it this way." Even if the president came, Tan Jiao would still kill Yi Mo, little bastard. "You're asking to die?" Tan Jiao's face was green. He didn't even think and slapped towards Yi Mo. He was clearly a few meters away from Yi Mo, but when he raised his hand, that hand already reached in front of Yi Mo. Even if Wan Qingfeng wanted to stop him, he couldn't, and Yi Mo cursed Tan Jiao so he couldn't. Young people had too much temper. It was reasonable to teach him a lesson. Thud. Yi Mo didn't even move and raised his hand at almost the same time as Tan Jiao. He even took a step forward. Fist and palm clashed, and there was the sound akin to a tire explosion. Stud, stud, stud. Tan Jiao retreated many meters out and finally stopped at the door. He then looked at his burning palm that felt like it was going to break and gazed at Yi Mo in astonishment. With his great heaven-level power, that palm was blocked by Yi Mo, and he even was on the lower hand. Was Yi Mo also great heaven? If Yi Mo was great heaven, and he offended such a young, great heaven, Tan Jiao's heart shook. He even felt an absurd terror, but he soon calmed down. He wasn't fully prepared in that attack, and didn't even go all out. It was acceptable to be a little on the down hand, but this was still very shocking. It could be seen that Yi Mo's power wouldn't be lower than Qingfeng, perhaps even stronger than him. He really couldn't believe that Yi Mo was great heaven already. Not only was Tan Jiao shocked, but Wan Qingfeng also opened his mouth wide in disbelief. Tan Jiao was great heaven, but Yi Mo beat him to retreat. How was this possible? He definitely wouldn't believe that Yi Mo was great heaven at this gi. Although Han Zixin was weak, he could still tell who had the upper hand in that clash. He immediately rejoiced. This Yi Mo was far out of his expectations. Yi Mo was also shocked. He didn't think his chi was that much stronger than Tan Jiao. Although it was a little stronger, there wasn't the difference showed in the clash just then. Just then, Tan Jiao rushed his attack while he used his geological advantage. Although he wasn't too clear on Tan Jiao's power level, but with this clash, he knew that Tan Jiao was great heaven level power. He didn't expect this old thing had broken through to great heaven, but Yi Mo didn't care. Although Tan Jiao was great heaven, his inner chi was inferior to his cultivation essence. When he consolidated his state, Tan Jiao's inner chi was nothing to him. Plus, even in his current situation, it was very simple to kill Tan Jiao. This was the difference between truth/spirit cultivators and martial artists. The later it got, the greater the difference. I didn't think you've already reached half-step great heaven. I underestimated you. But even so, you can't do anything in front of me. Tan Jiao said, and wiped his waist. A meter-long whip appeared in his hands. Yi Mo had seen many whip masters, but it was the first time seeing such a short whip. Yi Mo sneered and looked at Tan Jiao. "In my eyes, killing you is as easy as killing a chicken. Why do you look so highly of yourself?" Yi Mo also shook his head. "On Earth, people think they are good just because they reached great heaven state. If this was in the cultivation world, a great heaven master, a simple magic would kill tons of them." Looking at the sky and the well, this was the perfect definition of the Earth great heaven masters. Yi Mo, You are actually a half-step great heaven master? Han Zaixin asked shakily. In his heart, Yimo was so much important that Tan Jiao. If Yimo could cultivate to an extent that he could match against the entire hidden sect, then he wouldn't need to be so respectful to the hidden sect people. He didn't believe Yimo was a part of the hidden sect, nor the disciple of a hidden sect master. Although Tan Jiao and Wan Qingfeng were still relatively polite to him, he knew that in their heart the hidden sect was equally important. If the government was going to annihilate the hidden sects, perhaps they would betray. Wan Qingfeng was better. He would look at the bigger picture, and even value the country's benefits more than the hidden sections. But Tan Jiao was different. In his eyes, they were equally important. Sometimes when he dealt with things, he used a society method rather than a legal method. Wan Qingfeng also looked at Yimo with excitement. If Yimo was really halfway great heaven, then he would be really happy. He was different to Tan Jiao. In his heart, the country was so much more important than the hidden sections. Humph. So what even if you're great heaven? As long as I hold you here, the He Lu sect people can still annihilate your family. Tan Jiao sneered. Obviously, he was very unhappy that he was knocked back by that clash. Wan Qingfeng suddenly intervened. Old Tan, Yimo is at the same height with us now. We can't let the He Lu sect people touch his family. Tan Jiao felt very uncomfortable, but he was interrupted by Yimo. He Lu sect? I just killed 4 Earth levels. After the Beijing incident is over, the He Lu sect will disappear from the history. There will no longer be the He Lu sect, these 3 words. You killed He Lu sect people again? Tan Jiao's eyes went fierce and took a few steps forward, and was about to fight again. Old Tan, hold up. Even if you fight, you can't fight here. It would do cause too much notice, and it revokes the meaning of our hidden sect. Wan Qingfeng quickly stopped the angry Tan Jiao. His heart erupted in waves. If what Yimo said was real, he just easily killed 4 Earth-level fighters. This meant that he was no match for Yimo. If Yimo was only halfway great heaven, it would be very hard for him to do this. The only possibility was that Yimo was also great heaven. 2 great heaven grandmasters fighting in the busy city. How terrifying would that be? Okay, you have balls. Come to Tuo Mountain. I will wait for you there. Tan Jiao said, and left. He quickly disappeared from the Yi family mansion. He knew that it would cause too much attention if they fought in the Yi family place. Yimo sneered. He knew Tuo Mountain. It was 30 kilometers from Beijing and was a rocky place. There were graves everywhere, and rarely anyone went. He took out a lotus life pill and gave it to Yiling. Yiling, give this to Zifeng to eat. I will be back soon. Then Yimo just walked a few steps, and he was already out of the Yi family mansion. Then Yiling reacted and quickly called out, Brother, be careful. Wan Qingfeng saw Tan Jiao and Yimo leave. He didn't even think and followed out. Yimo was so young and had such power. He couldn't let anything happen to Yimo. Han Zaixin eyes flashed across surprise and joy, and immediately said, Zhangju, drive the car. We'll also go over. When Yi Beirong caught up to reality, there was only him and Yiling left in the Yi family meeting room. Just when Zhangju and Han Zaixin walked rapidly out of the Yi family mansion, they saw Yimo standing at the door waiting for them. Just when Zhangju and Han Zaixin walked rapidly out of the Yi family mansion, they saw Yimo standing at the door waiting for them. Yi brother, you didn't go? Are you going to drive there with us, or? Zhangju saw Yimo and asked curiously. From the bottom of his heart, he didn't want Yimo to fight Tan Jiao because Tan Jiao was already great heaven. That was a legendary state. No matter how strong Yimo was, he couldn't have reached that state at this age. But he couldn't say such words. As a martial artist, if you are challenged and you don't dare to face up to it, it would be very hard for the martial artist to progress. And he knew Yi Mo's character as well. Yi Mo smiled. Zhang brother, I want to help you with your wounds. I was desperate to kill that old thing before, and I forgot. Then Yi Mo grabbed Zhang Ju's wrist, and with his qi, in less than 10 minutes, all the wounds in Zhang Ju's body disappeared. Treating wounds with inner qi. Really? Yi Mo, what level are you at? Zhang Ju looked at Yi Mo in surprise. Han Zixin on the side also heard Zhang Ju's word and looked at Yi Mo in bewilderment. It's said that the great heaven could use their qi to recover wounds. Was Yi Mo really great heaven? I don't know what my current power is now, but we'll talk about this after I kill Tan Jiao, that old fart. Elder Han and Zhang Ju, thanks a lot this time. Yi Mo really didn't know what his power level was equivalent to, but he was really grateful for Zhang Ju's help. Although Zhang Ju's power level was too low and didn't do much, the fact he stood up for him made Yi Mo approve of him. Zhang Ju smiled embarrassingly and said, I actually didn't do much. Elder Tan is too strong. Sigh. He thought about the decades of cultivation he has had. Compared to Tan Jiao, it was like a joke. He also felt quite disappointed. Yi Mo smiled plainly. There's nothing great about that little power of his. Believe yourself, you can soon surpass him. Wait for me to come back. I'm going first. Yi Mo left Zhang Ju and Han Zixin and immediately stood on the flying sword. A few minutes later, he was already on top of Tuo Mountain. More than 10 minutes later, Tan Jiao appeared on the Tuo Mountain. He turned back and looked. It was empty. He then sneered. I purposely went a little slow, but I still don't see a shadow of him. I overestimated you. But before he finished, his voice suddenly stopped, as though a chicken getting its neck choked. This was because he saw Yi Mo standing on top of Tuo Mountain staring coldly at him. It was obvious that he had been here a long time. Tan Jiao was dumbfounded looking at Yi Mo. His previous exploding confidence wavered, and his back felt a little cold. After he reached great heaven, his heart was exploding with confidence and felt like he stood at the pinnacle of the world. This made him unable to accept being challenged by a Xiao Bei, so he was very angry at Yi Mo. But now he didn't even know when Yi Mo came. He took the shortest route, but didn't even see Yi Mo go passing him. Even if Yi Mo took the car, it would be the same speed as him. And it wasn't easy going up here with a car. When did you come? Tan Jiao asked powerlessly. His voice was dry. He was suddenly thinking, did he do things right? Yi Mo sneered, you talk a lot of rubbish. Hurry up and fight. Tan Jiao dumped that question aside and took out his whip again. Even if you're faster than me, so what? Today, I'll show you what a true martial artist is. Then, Tan Jiao's whip carried wave-like patterns and covered the skies, grinding towards Yi Mo. Yi Mo looked at Tan Jiao's whip and applauded. Although Tan Jiao was an enemy of him, this old guy's whip technique was really good. Before Tan Jiao, the strongest whip master he had seen was Xian Daoist, but compared to Tan Jiao, that was child's play. After Tan Jiao's whip came out, it turned into lines of waves and appeared ethereal. There wasn't even the sound of it gashing through the air, but the infiltrating killing intent rolled over like a wave. Yi Mo sighed. If he was still stage 3 now, even at the peak, he would have to run as far as he could from this Tan Jiao. The difference between great heaven and earth level was too great. The difference was greater than earth and black level. Yi Mo was sure that if his stage 4 wasn't much stronger than his previous stage 4, he really wouldn't be able to do anything to this Tan Jiao, even if he had a flying sword. But now, in Yi Mo's eyes, Tan Jiao was at most a little troublesome. A purple ray flashed, and Tan Jiao's whip was blocked by Yi Mo's flying sword. The clash of the weapons made a screeching sound. The whip that was already in a ripple-like state formed solid again. Dang. The whip was slashed away by the flying sword, and Tan Jiao also took a few steps back. Tan Jiao was shocked by lightning in his heart. People could only dodge his shadowless whip. No one knew where his whip would strike, nor where it was. But Yi Mo not only could know, but also struck his whip away. Even his hand was hurting from the shock. Tan Jiao looked at his whip and dazed. He soon found something that was even more unbelievable. His whip was full of chips. His whip was actually damaged. His whip was made from a rare, or which even he didn't know what was, with the tendon of a dragon snake in the deep sea. It's said that dragon snake would turn into a real dragon in some more years. Although this was a legend, but it was indeed a dragon snake tendon. So, he loved this whip like his life. But in that one bout, his whip was full of scars. Although they weren't deep, it was enough to hurt his heart. Then, Tan Jiao realized a terrifying fact. Just then, Yi Mo didn't seem to grab his sword with his hand. Could he really control his sword? This was something amongst the legends. Could Yi Mo do that as well? But soon, the hatred of his damaged whip stopped him from thinking again. He looked at Yi Mo with insatiable rage. How dare he damage his whip? Yi Mo looked expressionlessly at Tan Jiao, but his mind was focused on Tan Jiao's whip. He was sure that whip was made from the best materials. He used his chi essence and his flying sword, but he couldn't even break the whip. He only made a few shallow marks on it. Yi Mo sneered and sent out his flying sword again. Its speed was more than twice as fast as it was during stage 3. Tan Jiao just saw a slab of purple, and that purple dashed towards his throat. Tan Jiao suddenly fell into an ice cave and woke up. It was a flying sword. It really was a flying sword. Yi Mo could control sword telepathically to kill people. He was actually at such a state. Yi Mo didn't even dare to think anymore. His whip quickly whipped out and clashed with Yi Mo's flying sword. He was sent back again and again by the sheer force of the flying sword. But Yi Mo's flying sword was like it was alive and sliced towards Tan Jiao's neck at an absurd angle. Yi Mo was going to behead Tan Jiao. Under such shock, Tan Jiao no longer dared to be beaten around passively. If this continued, he was going to lose his head sooner or later. He jumped up from the spot and didn't even care about the flying sword. He just whipped down on Yi Mo's head. He wanted to use a kamikaze on Yi Mo. Yi Mo sneered, and in a spurring shadow, he flew up and disappeared, tens of meters out. His flying sword carried a bloody mist, and it spun around before appearing on top of Yi Mo's head. Rumble. Tan Jiao's whip smashed into the ground where Yi Mo stood before. A mere meter-long whip actually smashed out a 10-meter wide and 3-meter deep ravine. But Tan Jiao's stomach had a deep gash slashed out by Yi Mo's flying sword. If he didn't jump a little higher before, Yi Mo's sword would have cut open his stomach. You like acting cocky, huh? Yi Mo sneered again, and the flying sword above his head seemed to be getting bigger. At the same time, it tore apart the air, breaking the speed of sound, and smashed towards Tan Jiao. Tan Jiao saw this big purple mass smash towards him, and his heart immediately sunk to the bottom. He just realized that Yi Mo wasn't even fighting with full power before. This Yi Mo was too terrifying. He was not only not a match for him, but far inferior to him. But no matter what Tan Jiao thought, Yi Mo's flying sword slashed down like a huge door. Tan Jiao gathered all his chi and smashed his whip towards that purple mass. Bang, rumble. Tan Jiao's whip was sliced apart, and his body was smashed out more than 40 meters again by the huge explosion and flying rocks. Where he stood before was a 13-meter deep ravine, decimated by Yi Mo's flying sword. Tan Jiao fell down far away and smashed onto rubbles, constantly spitting blood. If his whip didn't block Yi Mo's sword, he would have been a dead body now. Yi Mo waved, and the flying sword landed in his hand. He looked coldly at Tan Jiao. and walked over slowly. He knew that also Great Heaven Master was not bad, but was no match for him right now. But he also knew that this Tan Jiao wasn't someone strong amongst Great Heaven Masters. Perhaps he just reached Great Heaven. Seeing Yi Mo walk over slowly, Tan Jiao's heart was like dead ashes. He didn't think that his Great Heaven power was no match for Yi Mo. Although he hadn't consolidated his state yet, he had great confidence reaching such power level. In his eyes, other people were insects, but now he realized who the insect was. He thought he could kill Yi Mo easily, but he didn't. Tan Jiao still couldn't believe that he had lost, and so utterly. He still felt that Yi Mo didn't fight at full power. What power state was Yi Mo at? He could control the sword with his will? He thought he could kill Yi Mo easily, but he didn't. Tan Jiao still couldn't believe that he had lost, and so utterly. He still felt that Yi Mo didn't fight at full power. What power state was Yi Mo at? He could control the sword with his will? Tan Jiao stared at the sword in Yi Mo's hand. For the first time, he felt regret. He didn't expect to be killed immediately as soon as he reached the peak of the world, and by someone so young. He remembered Luan Qingfeng's words, "Don't insult a young man's poverty." Yi Mo didn't need to be insulted. He had already surpassed him. If he had some more time, probably even the inner hidden sect people would be no match for him. Please have mercy. A gray figure quickly stopped in front of Tan Jiao. It was Luan Qingfeng. Although he stopped Yi Mo, his heart was ruptured with astonishment. He didn't expect that Tan Jiao was actually no match for Yi Mo. They even settled the score so quickly, and he didn't even see the fight. Funny how he had thought about how to let old Tan let Yi Mo go. Now, it wasn't if old Tan would let Yi Mo go, but if Yi Mo would let old Tan go. Yi Mo sneered. "Wan Qianbei, do you think I will let him go? He dares to kill my brother and sister, and I will have mercy on him? Tan bastard, you're lucky that I'm only killing you today. If I came back a little late and you touched Yi Ling and Zifeng, wherever you come from, I will erase that place to the ground." Tan Jiao shook. He knew that Yi Mo wasn't lying. He really had such power. If he died, that was it. But if Yi Mo also annihilated his home sect, then he would be the sinner of his sect. "Yi Mo, on account of me and old Han, please let old Tan go. These years, old Tan did quite some things for the country." Luan Qifeng knew that he must not let Yi Mo kill Tan Jiao. If Yi Mo did, then the conflict between the hidden sects and the country would erupt. After all, old Tan was killed in the Heaven Squad, and the person was the instructor of the flying snow. Plus, Tan Jiao reached Great Heaven State. This was significant for both the country and the hidden sections. If a Great Heaven Master was killed like this, it would be such a loss. Tan Jiao didn't speak. He was full of regret. He was a good friend of Gong Zizai. Years ago, Song Yuanyi gave him a strange, or that allowed him to make his whip. Thus, he owed Song Yuanyi. Plus, he reached Great Heaven, and he was arrogant, so he thought anyone who wasn't Great Heaven wasn't worth anything. But today, he finally realized that even reaching Great Heaven, he was only so-so. He was still someone whom Yi Mo could kill at any time. His extreme arrogance of reaching Great Heaven disappeared without a trace, and his thinking became logical again. At least he could realize that if the Hilu sect people didn't try to rob the blood coral from Yi Mo, how could they be killed by Yi Mo? It was all because he thought of Yi Mo as an insect before, and an insect was not worth of it for him to consider right or wrong. Yi Mo shook his head. "Sorry, Luan Qianbei. Please move aside. I must kill this person." Luan Qingfeng suddenly took a step forward. "If you're going to kill old Tan, then please kill me as well. If you let old Tan go this time, Luan Qingfeng, swear to the heavens that as long as I'm in Beijing one day, I will make sure the Yi family is safe." Yi Mo was moved. He couldn't always stay at Beijing. Although he could annihilate the He Lu sect, there were many people in the hidden sections. Who knows if some would hate him? If during the time he wasn't at Beijing, something happened to Yi Ling and Zifeng, then he wouldn't even be able to regret. Plus, even if he could get revenge in the end, would the loss come back? But he really didn't want to let Tan Jiao go like that. Although he knew that his sword Qi had entered Tan Jiao's dantian, making him unable to progress in the future at all. But even if he stayed where he was still a great heaven-level master. He was worried letting such a person stay in Beijing. Tan Jiao really didn't want to die like that. He just reached great heaven and didn't even have time to experience the joy and changes in great heaven, and he was going to die here. Now that Luan Qingfeng said something, and Yi Mo seemed hesitant, he immediately had some hope. Old Tan, it's just a misunderstanding between you and Yi Mo. You should apologize. Luan Qingfeng saw Yi Mo's concerns. He knew that Yi Mo offended too many people, and if he was outside, he would worry about his family members. Tan Jiao thought whatever. This was his only chance. He could no longer care about his face, and immediately said, I, Tan Jiao, swear that if I still live on today, I will not let the hidden sex people do as they please in Beijing. I will also support Qingfeng's idea. If I revoke this oath, let the heavens and earth perish me. Yi Mo sneered. This old thing still wanted his face, making an oath. He didn't say protect the Yi family, but instead said protect Beijing and support Qingfeng. But Yi Mo didn't point this out because he did some concerns indeed. It was simple for him to kill Tan Jiao now, but if he did, Luan Qingfeng would feel uncomfortable. If someone came to ravage the Yi family, he wouldn't do anything. Although Zhang Ju was not bad, he was still far inferior compared to the hidden sect masters, and he couldn't stay by Yi Ling and Zifeng all the time. Was he meant to send his brother and sister to the hidden sects as well? This wasn't realistic. Even if it was, since the hidden sect people could find them in Beijing, they could find Serenity as well. If he satisfied himself in the short term killing Tan Jiao, it wasn't worth it. Thinking about Serenity, Yi Mo immediately thought about Tang Beiwei. He should go see her soon. Yi Mo, please believe old Tan and me. I'm sure that when you're not in Beijing, as long as I and old Tan are here, the Yi family would be perfectly fine. There definitely wouldn't be such thing happening again. Old Tan was just too impulsive after hearing his old friend being killed as soon as he left solitary training. Luan Qingfeng quickly supplemented. Yi Mo looked coldly at Tan Jiao. Okay, since Qingfeng Qianbei said this, I'll stop here. But if something happens to my brother and sister again, then don't blame me. Although it was satisfying killing Tan Jiao now, Yi Mo couldn't establish this satisfaction on the safety of his siblings. With two such masters sitting in Beijing, it was much better than him thinking about them all the time. And Tan Jiao was infused with his sword Qi, he wouldn't help him resolve it. Tan Jiao's power would only decrease, not increase. Then, Yi Mo took a step out and disappeared without a trace. Of course, he did this purposefully to make Luan Qingfeng and Tan Jiao not dare to go back on their words. It was just invisibility magic, and he stood on his flying sword and left. Luan Qingfeng and Tan Jiao looked at where Yi Mo disappeared and opened their mouths wide open in shock. They couldn't say a word for a very long time. Did he surpass great heaven? I've never heard ancient martial arts have such means. This is too. Luan Qingfeng stuttered to find a word to describe Yi Mo's actions. Tan Jiao also looked dumbly at where Yi Mo left. He finally understood that Yi Mo didn't fight with him at full power at all. With the way Yi Mo left, he was more certain that Yi Mo had surpassed great heaven. Was he the being amongst the legends? Old Tan, let's talk when we go back. This Yi Mo isn't simple. Luan Qingfeng sighed. Elder Tan, Elder Feng, are you here? Hasn't Yi Mo come yet? Although Han Zixin's status was very high, he still needed to be polite in front of Tan Jiao and Luan Qingfeng. He and Zhang Ju just arrived. Wan Qingfeng smiled bitterly and said, Yi Mo has come and gone. Han Zixin saw the two deep ravines on the ground and guessed that the two had already fought. He subconsciously said Yi Mo helped Zhang Ju treat his wounds and was put behind 10 minutes. I thought he wasn't here yet. I didn't expect him to have left already. What? You said Yi Mo used 10 minutes to treat Zhang Ju before he came? Tan Jiao asked in surprise. Han Zixin nodded. Yes, he came after treating Zhang Ju. However, I didn't think we wouldn't make it since we drove immediately. Luckily, nothing happened, otherwise the loss would be big. Tan Jiao was in even more disbelief. Yi Mo started off 10 minutes later than him and still arrived before him. What did this mean? No matter power or speed, they weren't on the same level. Brother, you're back. Yi Ling walked into the yard and saw Yi Mo come in. She immediately ran over and let out a long sigh of relief. She heard her grandpa say that the person who was fighting Yi Mo was quite possible the legendary Heaven Squad. So she was very worried, and when she saw Yi Mo come back now, she finally felt relieved. Yi Mo patted her head and said, Let's go see Zifeng. Yi Zifeng ate the pill Yi Ling gave and was obviously recovering fast. He was very happy to see Yi Mo. He heard a lot about Yi Mo from Yi Ling. Yi Mo helped check Zifeng's leg again. With the Lotus Life pill, there shouldn't be any problems. But because Yi Zifeng wasn't a qi cultivator, he needed a week to recover. Big brother, I wasn't able to help you much at Ninghai. Thank you this time. Yi Zifeng had always been nice to Yi Mo, and he knew that the only reason Yi Mo was willing to come back and help the Yi family this time was due to him and Yi Ling. He wasn't an idiot. He could also tell the reason Grandpa let him be the family leader, but he didn't reject it. It was because he really did want to lead the Yi family to glory, bringing them to a new level. Big brother, I wasn't able to help you much at Ninghai. Thank you this time. Yi Zifeng had always been nice to Yi Mo, and he knew that the only reason Yi Mo was willing to come back and help the Yi family this time was due to him and Yi Ling. He wasn't an idiot. He could also tell the reason Grandpa let him be the family leader, but he didn't reject it. It was because he really did want to lead the Yi family to glory, bringing them to a new level. Yi Mo waved his hand. We're brothers. No need to say that. Plus, when I was studying at Ninghai, you helped me a lot. Especially when I left, you told Wang Ying to give me that 20K. I had no money on me at all at the time. That 20K helped me a lot. And in the future, I won't be coming back to Beijing a lot. If there's anything, you can ask Zhang Ju for help. Yi Mo really felt emotional. When he first woke up, he didn't even have the money to eat food. If it wasn't Wang Ying who brought him 20K, it would be really hard for him. Without that money, he wouldn't be able to reach stage 1 Qi gathering. Without reaching stage 1, he wouldn't be able to sell charms, and without that, he would have no source of income. So, it could be said that Yi Zifeng's 20K gave Yi Mo the basis to survive in this world. Yi Ling heard this, and her eyes went red. She thought of all ways to protect Yi Mo, and in order not to let people know, she even intentionally hated him and kept trying to start up trouble with Yi Mo and Yi Zifeng. Her little money was all tricked by her opponents. If Yi Mo didn't come back to Beijing in time, she wouldn't dare to think what state she would be in. Now, reflecting on how Yi Mo lived at Ninghai by himself without food to eat, she felt really bad. She really was too naive before. Yi Mo saw Yi Ling's face and could tell what she was thinking about. He immediately held her hand and said, Ling, you don't need to blame yourself. Your intention was good. You were used by people only because you had no social experience. From now on, think before you do and listen to Zifeng. At this moment, being with her brothers, Yi Ling experienced a long-lost feeling. It was the feeling of family. With family members, there was family. Yi Zifeng dazed and said, Big brother, I told Wang Ying to give you money many times, but at that time, I didn't have much myself. At most, I sent out 1 or 2K. I never brought you 20K. Yemo was also surprised. Zifeng didn't give this to him, but who else would be kind enough to give him money other than his siblings? Brother, could it be that Wang Ying liked you and gave it to you herself? Yi Ling suddenly said. Yemo smiled and patted Yi Ling's head. Don't be so nosy. It would be strange if Wang Ying would like me. He thought of that carefree Wang Ying. She could say anything in front of him. If she really liked him, she wouldn't say that Zifeng gave him the 20K, but say it was her. I'll ask her when I go back then. Zifeng, get some more rest. I will leave tonight. It might be a while before I come back. As for Ling, I will refine your necklace and bracelet later. Yi Mo saw the dim necklace on Yi Ling's neck. Although it could defend, it can't block half an attack from an Earth-level master. As soon as Yi Mo said that, the Yi family mansion suddenly seemed busy. People kept coming to greet and visit. Yi Mo didn't know who these people were, but he guessed that they were probably the power circle of Beijing. These people's ears were really good. He just taught He Lu sect and Tan Jiao a lesson. And these people got the news. Zhang Ju is here. Yi Ling opened the door for him. Yi Mo's spirit sense had scanned Zhang Ju outside. Yi Ling opened the door, and indeed saw Zhang Ju outside. Yi Mo, are you really great, Heaven? Even Elder Tan was no match for you. You're really... Zhang Ju looked at Yi Ling and Yi Zifeng, who looked at him in shock. He stopped embarrassingly and scratched his head. Yi Mo smiled. Great Heaven? I really don't know myself, but it doesn't matter. Zhang Ju, when I'm not in Beijing, I might have to trouble you to take care of Yi Ling and Zifeng. Zhang Ju immediately patted his chest and said, Don't worry. As long as I'm here, I won't let anyone bully Yi Ling and Zifeng. Yi Mo nodded and gave a qi-increasing pill to Zhang Ju and said, This pill can at least let you reach black-level tertiary stage from your black-level primary stage. If you eat this at black-level tertiary stage, it can make you reach Earth level. Zhang Ju grabbed the pill as though it was some great treasure. He looked at it and exclaimed, It's that powerful? Is it the spirit pill of the legends? Now, he knew that Yi Mo might really be a great heaven master and wouldn't doubt at all the things Yi Mo gave him. Spirit pill? Yi Mo almost laughed. Qi-increasing pill was possibly the lowest grade pill of the entire cultivation realm, but someone called it spirit pill. If this got out, people would laugh out their teeth. Zhang Ju looked at the phone in his belt and said, I'm going back. I'll come drink with you later. Yi Mo waved his hand and said, I'm going to leave Beijing soon. Greet Elder Han for me. Tell him that I will help him find the thing. By the way, how is the woman Han Yen brought back last time? Yi Mo was asking about Wendong. Zhang Ju quickly said, She's fine. She recovered very quickly as well. That snow lotus seed was really a good thing, but your means are quite impressive. After she got well, she left with the Feng Tian who came to see her. I don't know where they went exactly, but Han Yen knew, and she sent them 2 away. Hearing that she was fine, Yi Mo felt relieved. Yi Mo didn't really care where she went. He decided to save her life because she was loyal. Even though she was about to be interrogated to death, she didn't want to spill his information. Yi Ling wanted to ask about Ning Qingxue, but Zhang Ju was here, and it was not convenient to ask. Now that Zhang Ju had left, she immediately asked, Brother, how is Qingxue now? Have you visited her yet? Yi Mo didn't want to mention Qingxue, but now that Yi Ling asked, he felt a little gloomy. Yeah, how is she now? What's wrong, brother? Did something happen between you and Qingxue, sister? Yi Ling didn't know that Ning Qingxue had lost her memory. Yi Mo shook his head and said nothing. After things here are over, I will go see her. Yi Ling could tell that Yi Mo was hiding something, but since her brother said that, she couldn't really ask any more. Can I go see her? Yi Mo immediately waved his hand. No need. Don't leave Beijing during this time. Wait till I come back. At this time, it was safest for her to stay in Beijing. After helping Yi Ling and Zifeng repair their protection artifacts, Yi Mo left the mansion. Although he was well known amongst the hierarchy of Beijing, he really didn't know Beijing very well. He just asked Yi Ling, and now know that Wang Ling worked at her family's company. Other than coming to thank her, he also needed to ask who gave him the 20K. When Yi Mo got to the road, he found that there was a bar on the busy road. The bar was called Drunk Eye Bar. The reason he noticed this bar was because he felt this bar was familiar. He seemed to have come here before. Yi Mo quickly remembered that he had been to this bar indeed. When he first came to Beijing, Nie Shuang invited him to this bar, and Nie Shuang killed 2 people at this bar. Yi Mo stopped her when she was taking off her clothes and forced her to swear that she wouldn't have any ill will towards Yi Ling. However, when Nie Shuang left the sentence, she said, "I'm still a virgin." Yi Mo still didn't understand what it meant now. He didn't know why Nie Shuang said that before she left, but he felt that Nie Shuang was very eerie. It was just like Nie Wubian he killed, and that red-robed woman in Chun, and they all had common characteristics, eerie, bleak, and cruel. Yi Mo shook his head, but that Nie Shuang kept her promise and didn't do anything to Yi Ling. After he walked past Drunk Eye Bar, he scanned his spirit sense in casually and was surprised to find that Nie Shuang was actually sitting inside the bar. She sat in the exact same position as when they met up. It seemed like she had been sitting there for a long time. What was this woman doing here? He wouldn't believe it if she fell in love with him just seeing him twice and came here to reminisce. He saw with his own eyes how evil this woman was. He saw her indifference when she killed, and her words, "I'm still a virgin." Although he didn't believe that she was, he didn't understand why she would say that. Yi Mo noticed that bleak and evil chi on her was gone, and her inner chi was unstable. Her face was pale. It was obvious she was heavily injured. She had such heavy wounds. Why didn't she go treat it? Why was she drinking here? Yi Mo immediately felt strange. Why did she change her cultivation method? If she didn't, why was the chi on her completely different from last time? When Yi Mo saw Nie Wubian, he suspected that she was also the 9 Moon sect disciple. Now that he saw her, the bleak chi was gone, and this was quite suspicious. Just when Yi Mo wanted to go in and ask if she was a member of that sect, a sliver of cruelty appeared on her face as she stood up abruptly. Yi Mo watched as Nie Shuang left the Drunk Eye Bar and followed without thinking. He wanted to see what this woman was doing. Yi Mo followed, but he didn't go far before he was stopped. Yi Mo followed, but he didn't go far before he was stopped. "You are Yi Mo?" The person stopping him asked uncertainly. Yi Mo looked at the woman in front of him and realized it was the person he was coming to see today. It seemed that she looked at him for quite a while before stopping him, but because Yi Mo changed so much that she wasn't certain. Seeing it was Wang Ying, Yi Mo immediately smiled. "Yeah, I'm Yi Mo, but I came for some business with you today." "You really are Yi Mo? You've changed so much. I don't even recognize you. Last time I heard Yi Ling talk about you. You actually came to Beijing." Wang Ying called out with surprised joy. Although Yi Mo was well known, she hadn't heard of what he had done, and neither had a lot of people. It was because the people she was connected to were in a whole different league to the people Yi Mo was associated to. And Yi Ling didn't tell things about Yi Mo to Wang Ying. "By the way, you said you were looking for me. What for?" "But Yi Mo, I haven't seen you for more than a year, and you've become so handsome. Did that Ning Qingxue dump you? How about to let me be your girlfriend?" Wang Ying was still so carefree, but Yi Mo finally felt some familiarity. "Nothing important. When I was at Ninghai Uni, you helped me a lot, so I came to thank you. As for girlfriend, never mind, I can't afford a rich girl like you. Wang Ying waved her hand generously. It's nothing. Don't mention it. Let's go. Big sis will treat you to a big meal. Then Wang Ying pulled Yemo and called a taxi. She then turned to look at Yemo. Don't think that I don't have a car. I'm about to buy a car soon. If you don't have anywhere else to go, just stay in Beijing with me. I'll find you something. Wang Ying was being genuine. She knew that Yemo wasn't welcomed in the Yi family and knew that he didn't have any good connections. She was purely trying to help him. Yemo suddenly remembered about Nye Shuang and scanned his spirit sense out, but he couldn't see anything. Normally, Yemo would be grateful to Wang Ying treating him to food and would go, but today he had a lot of things to do, so he could only reject. Wang Ying, let's go. Why are you still here? Let's go Luo tonight. I'm telling you that Qi Xianfeng will also be going. At this moment, a woman came out of the office building behind Wang Ying and said, she subconsciously looked at Yemo and Wang Ying, wondering what relationship they were and who Yemo was. Wang Ying immediately rejoiced. Really? You're saying that Qi Xianfeng will really go tonight? Pfft, why would I lie to you? Wang Ying said apologetically to Yemo, sorry, I can't invite you to dinner tonight. Next time. This is my number. Remember to call me. Shan, let's go together. Yemo took the name card and said, it's fine. Next time then. But by the way, I want to ask that last time you gave me 20K, who told you to do so? It's Li Mumei. I'm going Yemo then. Wang Ying and that woman got on the car and disappeared. It was Li Mumei? Yemo repeated, but he soon understood that Li Mumei wouldn't give him money. The only possibility was that Ning Qingxue told her to do so, although he knew that Ning Qingxue was using him as a shield and that 20K was to compensate for that. Yemo was very grateful. To Yemo, he didn't lose out on anything, and he really needed money at the time. If he didn't have any more contact with Ning Qingxue later on, he would at most thank her, but now it reignited his reminiscence for Ning Qingxue. Qingxue. Yemo murmured and remembered the one at Shen Nongjia Di Tua Peak, a girl who risked her life to find him. How could she forget him? How could she be so heartless? Did she not have any memories at all? Yemo no longer had the mood to look for Nye Shuang. He wandered cluelessly at the streets of Beijing when reminiscing all the relevant event details of Shen Nongjia, bottom of the cliff. He thought about that small silver heartgrass in that yard in Ninghai, and that blood stain on the silver heartgrass. Perhaps I should go back to Ninghai to have a look. Yemo murmured again. Yemo didn't know how long he had walked for when the crowd ahead interrupted his thought for Ning Qingxue. He found that he already came by the Yan River unknowingly. The Yan River and Miyang Lake of Beijing didn't intersect. They were two famous sites. Those living around the Miyang Lake were all the wealthy and powerful, so it was also called the Wealthy Lake. Meanwhile, there were very little people around the Yan River. Those who lived here were usually outsiders. Although it didn't have the name of Poverty Lake, it wasn't much different. At this moment, Yemo came to the Yan River, and the people were gathered around a dead body. Yemo scanned his spirit sense. It was a youth in his 20s. His face was gray, but what was scary was that his eyes weren't closed, and his terrified expression remained on his face. Yemo, it's you? I'm Xiao Lei. Do you remember me? A female journalist yelled in joy and walked rapidly to Yemo. Yemo saw Xiao Lei, who was a little skinny, and remembered how she went to Flowing Snake and Shen Nongjia alone to interview and couldn't help to laugh. Of course I remember. Are you the great journalist Xiao, who's always first to run to the front line? I didn't think you would be covering such a small incident. Xiao Lei's face seemed a little sad, but she soon recovered. This isn't small. This man is the 6th that died in Beijing. Everyone died the same way. terrified expression. I've followed the crime squad for more than a month, but we have no leads at all. Sai, let's not talk about this. Are you free tonight? Tonight. Yi Mo hesitated and said, I'm leaving Beijing tonight, so I'm not free. Oh. Xiao Lei had some disappointment on her face. She finally met Yi Mo, but Yi Mo said he wasn't free. She looked hesitantly at Yi Mo and said, Yi Mo, I just want to treat you to dinner once. I'm very grateful for last time. So, Yi Mo smiled. No need, haha. You already did last time we went to Shinnomjia. Next time, I will treat you to dinner, but I'm really busy today. Xiao Lei. There were already people in the crowd calling for her. Xiao Lei looked helplessly at Yi Mo. Okay then, next time. But you must not say you're busy again next time. Yi Mo stared at Xiao Lei for a long time until Xiao Lei started blushing before he suddenly said to her, Give me your hand to me. Huh. Xiao Lei hesitated for a long time and looked at Yi Mo in confusion. Yi Mo laughed awkwardly. Sorry, I was too straightforward. Did you notice where the people usually die? Xiao Lei looked around nervously and suddenly reached out her hand in front of Yi Mo. It's fine. Here, it was as though her hand was just a thing that she could give to Yi Mo. Yi Mo didn't reject, but he didn't grab her hand. Instead, he grabbed her wrist. Xiao Lei blushed and wanted to struggle. She didn't understand why Yi Mo did this. In her impression, Yi Mo was a very traditional person. Even if there weren't people here, he wouldn't do such thing, much less with so many people. Yi Mo's spirit sense felt that there were large amounts of bleak qi inside Xiao Lei's body, just like Shui Yangqing before. He immediately knew that Xiao Lei was invaded by this bleak qi. If this continued to increase, she would die sooner or later. Even if it didn't, she would be very sick. Since he encountered it, and it was someone he knew, Yi Mo didn't mind helping her. If she didn't agree to give her hand out then, never mind. Xiao Lei wasn't Shui Yangqing. Shui Yangqing was Zhuo Aigua's niece, so he would help. If Xiao Lei didn't reach out her hand, he wouldn't help her. The bleak qi was soon forced out of her body by Yi Mo. Xiao Lei also felt she seemed to be more energetic and light. At this moment, he realized that Yi Mo seemed to be treating her. When Yi Mo let go, she immediately asked, Yi Mo, is there something wrong with me? Yi Mo nodded. Yes, try to avoid touching these bodies. These bodies just died, and they have some bleak qi on them. After you touch them, this deathly bleakness will invade your body. Once or twice is fine, but you must have arrived the scenes first every time. If this continues, and if your immunity is weak, then you would become very sick, or might even die. Xiao Lei dazed for a long time before saying, No wonder recently I kept feeling sick, and after what you did to me just now, I seem to feel a lot lighter. So that's it. You saved me again. Thank you, Yi Mo. Yi Mo frowned. He just found some leads, and immediately turned to Xiao Lei and said, You're welcome. We'll talk next time. I have business to do. Xiao Lei watched as Yi Mo walked off and felt lost. She knew that this man didn't belong to her. Although she knew this man was very excellent, but what use was that? Xiao Lei watched as Yi Mo walked off and felt lost. She knew that this man didn't belong to her. Although she knew this man was very excellent, but what use was that? Yi Mo felt the direction that the frost qi flowed, and chased up without hesitation. He was thinking whether or not Nye Shuangshuang did this. After all, not long ago, he saw Nye Shuangshuang. And the bleakness he felt in Xiao Lei's body was very similar to the bleakness in Zhu Yangqing. An hour later, the sun had fallen completely. Yi Mo found his target in an empty patch of land. It was a man in his 40s. His face was very long, and his bleak qi was even more dense than Nye Wubian. He wore white clothes and stood in the barren land in the middle of the night like a ghost. Not Nye Shuangshuang? Just when Yemo was thinking, he saw Nye Shuang walk over. She was also here as well, but was outside of his spirit sense range before. Shuang, give me the thing, then I won't take your life. The man saw Nye Shuang and his face calmed down a little and said softly, but his voice wasn't soft and was very sharp instead. Nye Shuang sneered. Nye Pai, stop dreaming. My Wan is being robbed. Even if it's still here, I won't give it to you. Under the night sky, Nye Shuang's pale face seemed paler under the moonlight. Nye Shuang, you will give it to me today no matter what. If I didn't see you at Beijing this time, I would have thought you were cultivating the same cultivation method as the 9-moon method. But now, I understand that you switched secretly. Don't think I can't tell that you're a virgin? If you cultivate our way, you can remain a virgin. The long-faced man sneered and seemed vicious as he glared at Nye Shuang's pale face. Seeing that Nye Shuang shut her mouth tightly and didn't say anything, he sneered. I'll give you an option. Give me the thing, and also give me your red pill. Other than that, stay with me for a year. I can keep this secret for you. Otherwise, don't blame me. Yi Mo frowned as he listened. He didn't understand a sentence of it, but he saw Nye Shuang kill the 2 men at the drunk eye bar with his own eyes and pulled her skirt open. He definitely wouldn't believe that Nye Shuang was a virgin, but from this man's words, Nye Shuang really was a virgin. How could this be? I can give it to you. Nye Shuang walked a few steps forward and was going to pull off her clothes again. The long-faced man smiled and didn't move. When Nye Shuang finished that sentence, 2 bright beams of light suddenly shot out of her clothes like laser towards the man's forehead and throat. Yi Mo immediately recognized the 2 beams. It was the 2 long needles he saw Nye Shuang used to kill. Nye Shuang could actually use them as projectiles to take this man by surprise. It could be seen that she spent a lot of efforts on that. But Yi Mo knew that Nye Shuang was wasting her effort because this man was Earth level and Nye Shuang wasn't even Yellow level middle stage. There was no way she could take out an Earth level by surprise. As expected, the man just waved his hand, and the 2 needles fell into his hands. He played with the needles and said plainly, Shuang, don't play your little tricks in front of your big martial brother. Wu Bian and Red Robes have been killed. Before Red Robes died, she sent the message that the person who killed her was the person who killed Wu Bian. I investigated. He's called Yi Mo. You should know him right. Seeing Nye Shuang still refusing to talk, the man sneered, Take me to find Yi Mo. I will let him understand that no one can kill our 9-moon sex disciples. Then sleep with me for a year or so, and perhaps I'll let you go. You want me to help you find Yi Mo? Keep dreaming. You shemale want woman? Are you even able? You want woman. Wait for your next life. Nye Shuang stared coldly at this man. Her eyes were full of anger and ridicule. You're asking for it. This man suddenly jumped up and kicked onto Nye Shuang's chest. Nye Shuang flew out more than 10 meters and spat blood in the air. Then she fell to the ground and could no longer move. Yi Mo knew that Nye Shuang probably wasn't going to live after that kick. Just when he wanted to go over, this man seemed to have noticed something and suddenly sprung up and was about to dart away. Yi Mo dazed. He thought that since this man was looking for him, he wouldn't run away even when he came. Otherwise, why would this man still be looking for him? However, this man was trying to escape, and he wouldn't let that happen. The purple flying sword caught up to the man rapidly and turned into a purple death ray. Yi Mo wanted to slice off his legs, as he still needed to ask the man some questions. The man's legs were cut off, but he didn't stop. He flew out a few more meters and fell into the Yan River. Blood spread across the surface of the river and quickly disappeared. Yi Mo followed out with his spirit sense, but he didn't find any trace of the man. Looking at the 2 legs, Yi Mo frowned and thought he was too careless. He didn't expect this guy to be this good at running, but luckily he cut off his legs. Yi Emo followed along the river and still had no leads, so he could only return to the place where the fight took place. On the ground, dark red blood seeped out from the two legs. Yi Emo burned them casually with a fireball, but he was thinking this Nine Moon sect really had a whole spectrum of arts. Yi Emo was sure that with the way Nya Pai was running, even Tan Zhao wasn't able to catch up to him, much less normal Earth levels. If Yi Emo wasn't careless at the start, the man wouldn't have gotten away for sure, but he used Yi Emo's carelessness to escape despite losing his legs. Yi Emo went by Nye Shuang Shuang and scanned his spirit sense. He was sure that if he didn't rescue her, she would be dead for sure. Her internal injuries were too severe. Yi Emo shook his head. Although he didn't know the exact locations of the Nine Moon sect, he was sure he could find it. There was no need to ask Nye Shuang Shuang. Since she was going to die, then let her be. Yi Emo turned around. Although he didn't want to save Nye Shuang Shuang, he didn't want to watch her die either. The best thing to do was pretend he didn't see anything. Wait. Nye Shuang Shuang's voice was so weak that it almost couldn't be heard. She seemed to have seen someone in front of her. Although the figure was very blurry, she was sure it wasn't her big martial brother Nya Pai. But now, she didn't want to think who this person was. Yi Emo looked coldly at Nye Shuang Shuang and didn't speak. Nye Shuang Shuang didn't even look up and took out a letter and gave it to Yi Emo. Please give this to Yi Emo. Tell him the Nine Moon sect people want to kill him. Tell him to run. Nye Shuang Shuang didn't even finish and suddenly spouted out more blood and then banged her head back on the ground. Her hand slumped down powerlessly and the letter became red in her hands. Yi Emo took the letter with surprise. He glanced at the unconscious Nye Shuang Shuang and opened the letter. Yi Emo, sorry that I hid things from you. I thought about things later, and I'm sure that you're an ancient martial arts cultivator. I'm actually also an ancient marital arts cultivator, but the sect I came from is the Nine Moon sect. Because the cultivation methods they practice are so evil, the outer hidden sects do not allow the Nine Moon sect to join them. So now, despite being a lot stronger than many outer hidden sects, the Nine Moon sect can only be called semi-hidden sect. You will ask me, why would I treat you differently after only seeing you twice? It's because you have this chi on you that will dissipate this killing intent on me and also reduce the bleak poison in my body. Although I came from the Nine Moon sect, I didn't cultivate their cultivation method, but no one knew that. It's because I have a pet called Wan Wan. Wan Wan can cultivate the Nine Moon sect cultivation method. It needs to digest the spirit and yin chi of dead people, and he can also change into anything. So usually I put him in a pocket because if my master knew that I didn't cultivate the Nine Moon sect way, I would be killed immediately. But as Wan Wan got stronger and stronger, I could no longer control it. I felt it would usurp me at any time, and I'm also feeling a stronger and stronger desire for blood. I'm very scared. I felt the bleak and poisonous chi on me was getting denser and denser. Perhaps eventually, without Wan Wan to consume me, I would be already dead. But then later, I met you. Standing by you, I felt you were different to other ancient martial artists. You chi could make me give up the urge to kill and dispel the bleak chi on me. I invited you to a date. This was the first time I genuinely dated a man. But in your eyes, I saw disgust and hatred. I hated myself. I was very sad. After leaving you, I cried for a week. Then I chose to leave Beijing. I tried to control myself from killing for no reason, because I don't want to see the disgust in your eyes. Because I stopped killing people, I finally couldn't control Wan Wan. Wan Wan left, but it remembered that I fed it and raised him so it didn't devour me. Wan Wan left. I fell sick. Although it didn't devour me, I was heavily invaded by the bleak chi. since I kept Luan Luan without cultivating the 9 Moon sect way before. I knew my life was at an end. I didn't go find Luan Luan, neither did I dare to return to the 9 Moon sect. So I came back to Beijing again. I wanted to see you, even just once. So I often sat at Drunk Eye Bar waiting for you, waiting for a miracle. The letter was unfinished. It just ended there. Yi Mo saw the unfinished letter and sighed. No wonder Nye Shuang said she was still a virgin. It was because she saw the disgust in his eyes. She said that just to prove something. Yi Mo saw the unfinished letter and sighed. No wonder Nye Shuang said she was still a virgin. It was because she saw the disgust in his eyes. She said that just to prove something. No wonder when he first saw her, she had this bleak and strange chi on her. It was her pet, a pet that devoured spirits. If her pet just devoured a male soul and hadn't fully digested it, then she would have that strange chi indeed. It seemed that everything you saw wasn't always true. When he saw her pull open her skirt, it was just her letting out her pet to devour spirits. There was actually such a thing that could change into something like the environment and ascend through devouring human spirits. If this thing was in the cultivation realm, it would be fought over by countless people, but on Earth, it was a disaster. Yi Mo looked at the unconscious Nye Shuang as his heart battled intensely over whether or not to save her life. Never mind, he still had 3 Lotus Life pills anyways. Seeing that you risked your life to notify me about the 9 Moon sect, I'll feed you one. As for whether you live or die, that will depend on your luck. Yi Mo took out a Lotus Life pill and put it in her mouth. The pill immediately melted and flowed into Nye Shuang's body. After feeding, Yi Mo didn't want to waste time here. He got on his flying sword and flew towards Chun, and like a comet, he knew that tonight there would be a slaughterfest at Chun, and when Yi Mo got back to Chunan, it was already almost 10 p.m. He felt that he was about to grasp something, but couldn't. It was Nye Shuang's letter. There seemed to be some information he needed inside, but he couldn't find what it was. Yi Mo returned to his living place. The building was still quite dead. Other than the elderly on the 1st and 2nd floor, the 3rd floor, and above was dead silent. Because he didn't see Luo Xian, Yi Mo wanted to find her. It was for that golden paper. Now, he had the latter half of the Nye Luo Sutra, but the former half wasn't found. But before he went to look for Luo Xian, Yi Mo still needed to go to the Hua family. Just then, when he walked to his place, he purposely slowed down, but didn't see anyone come to stop him. According to Hong Xi's words, they should be ambushing him at Chun, and how come there wasn't any? When Yi Mo came to the Hua family, he immediately understood why. Hua Kuming had left, and Hua Kei was nowhere to be seen. Yi Mo scanned his spirit sense in the library, and many of the books were carried away. Although he was quite annoyed by this old guy Hua Kuming, he wasn't angry to the extent that he was going to kill Hua Kuming's family. Plus, although Hua Kuming wanted to kill him, he didn't do anything yet. Regardless of whether or not he acted on a tip-off, since he didn't attack, Yi Mo wouldn't waste time to kill him. There wasn't too much feud between them. Hua Kuming wasn't here, and he wasn't ambushed. Yi Mo immediately knew that news of him killing 4 Earth levels must have been leaked to the people who were going to ambush him. Yi Mo didn't care too much about these people running, but one of the He-Lu sect elder you ran away, and he wasn't quite happy about that. After all, this man was on his must-kill list. As long as it was the He-Lu sect he wanted to kill. But Yi Mo also knew that it was very hard for these people to not know the news. Yi Mo felt quite unsatisfied, but could only let it go like that. He was prepared to meet Luo Xian later, and then go to the He-Lu sect. He couldn't let the He-Lu sect people retreat. He must remove out the source of the trouble. Yinghua Temple, although it was quite old and shattered, it had a long history. When Yi Mo came to the outskirts of the temple, he didn't find anyone with his spirit sense. He only smelled blood. He quickly walked in. There was no one inside the temple, but there was blood everywhere on the ground, and the range wasn't small. The blood seemed quite fresh, meaning there was killing here not long ago. Did something happen to Luo Xian? When Yi Mo thought about Luo Xian, the first thought actually wasn't that she had the golden paper he needed, but when she patted her chest and said she wasn't afraid of ghosts, when she hung the peachwood sword outside his room in the middle of the night. Then he thought about if she had that golden paper on her. Yi Mo looked around carefully. Outside, there were messy footsteps. From the amount of footsteps, it seemed there weren't many people here. Only about 4 to 5. Yi Mo confirmed again. It was 4. If one pair was Luo Xian's, then other than Luo Xian, 3 other people also came here. Yi Mo suddenly felt impetuous. If it wasn't for following Nia Shuang, perhaps he would have came here when the incident hadn't occurred. Yi Mo circled around a few times outside and eventually saw the footprints of 2 people. It seemed that other than the 4, more people came. But they came and left quickly. Yi Mo was sure that other than those, there were no more marks. He looked back disappointedly. It seemed that he didn't have luck with that golden paper. Whether Luo Xian was dead or alive, it would depend on her fortune. Yi Mo went back to his place. The building was still dead and lifeless. Yi Mo walked in front of Luo Xian's door and subconsciously reached in with his spirit sense. It was empty indeed. Luo Xian wasn't back. Then he went back to his place. Yi Mo closed the door and habitually scanned the room with his spirit sense. Luo Xian was curled up around his bed, shaking like a lamb. Luo Xian, what happened to you? Yi Mo walked over and asked Luo Xian in surprise. Luo Xian, who usually wasn't afraid of ghosts, saw Yi Mo now and could no longer hold in her cries. Yi Mo looked at Luo Xian and saw that she was injured but not very serious. And it was getting better. It seemed that she had eaten some pills. Stand up first and tell me what's wrong? Yi Mo asked again. Luo Xian sniffed for a moment and stood up and then said, I found the Anai Luo Sutra at Chunan Uni and waited for you till 8 p.m. You still hadn't come back, so I went to the Ying Hua Temple. When I arrived, there was only my second martial sister, Luo Fei, there. I talked with her for a while, and she said she wanted to go see if big martial sister had returned, so she went out. Yi Mo took out a bottle of water from his ring and gave it to Luo Xian. Luo Xian didn't notice where Yi Mo took it out from, and just took it over and drank the water. Then she continued, after a while, my big martial sister came. I told her I found the Anai Luo Sutra and took out the 2 parts and showed her. She was very happy and excited. I asked her if she had seen second martial sister, and she said she hadn't. I thought that second martial sister just went out. How could she not see? Just when I wanted to go see, I heard this cry of pain outside. It seemed to be my second martial sister's. I rushed out quickly, but my big martial sister was faster than me. As soon as she heard the sound, she charged out. But she immediately came back inside the temple. There was blood all over her chest. In that short moment, she was ambushed. Speaking till here, Luo Xian cried again. Yi Mo frowned. He felt this thing was strange. If someone was really going to ambush Luo Xian, then wouldn't it be the perfect time to strike, when her second martial sister had already left and her big martial sister hadn't come yet? Then I helped my big martial sister up. I wanted to help her stop the bleeding, but she couldn't hold on. She told me to go immediately. I said second martial sister wasn't back yet. Big martial sister just told me to go. Immediately, I listened to her, but when I turned around to take away the Anai Luo Sutra, I put on the side. I noticed that it was gone. Luo Xian kept sniffing. Yi Mo patted her shoulders and said, Don't worry, keep talking. Luo Xian truly felt helpless now. Usually, it was her big martial sister deciding for her, but now she felt very lost. Yimo's comfort calmed her a lot. She nodded and continued, I was shocked to see the Ni Luo Sutra disappear, and just when I wanted to turn around, someone hid behind me, palmed my back. I spat out blood, and it spilled on Big Marshal Sister's face. She suddenly woke up and yelled, pulling me to charge out from the back of Inghua Temple. She was very fast, and I seemed to have heard a lot of noises from behind. Those people for some reason didn't keep chasing. Big Marshal Sister took me and ran a few miles before falling unconscious to the ground. I remembered that Lotus Life pill you gave me, and I gave it to my Big Marshal Sister. Then I carried my Big Marshal Sister and ran in a different direction. After 7 kilometers, when I couldn't run anymore, I put my Big Marshal Sister down. Yi Mo nodded. Although from Luo Xian's description, her Big Marshal Sister was heavily wounded. If she ate his Lotus Life pill, she should be fine. So he asked again, since you came back, where is your Big Marshal Sister? Luo Xian cried out once again. After a moment, she said, when Big Marshal Sister woke up, she said that the pill I gave her was very good. She felt a lot better and should be fine. But then she said we should go separately. She told me to go meet her a year later at Luo Tsam. In the meantime, we must not have any contacts at all, and she threw away our phones. Luo Xian cried out once again. After a moment, she said, when Big Marshal Sister woke up, she said that the pill I gave her was very good. She felt a lot better and should be fine. But then she said we should go separately. She told me to go meet her a year later at Luo Tsam. In the meantime, we must not have any contacts at all, and she threw away our phones. Yi Mo suddenly understood something. He looked at Luo Xian and said, can you show me your wound on your back? Huh. Luo Xian stopped crying and looked at Yi Mo in surprise. Checking the wound on her back, didn't that mean she had to take off her top? Yi Mo also realized it wasn't very appropriate after saying it. He subconsciously didn't even think about this because he really didn't have any intentions for a lowly like Luo Xian. Since it's inconvenient, then never mind. Yi Mo quickly said. Luo Xian shook her head. There's nothing inconvenient, Yi brother. I trust you. There must be a reason you want to see it. I'll show you. Then Luo Xian took off her top. On her smooth and silky skin, there was a red palm print. Although Yi Mo didn't think of anything, he still felt his face getting a little warmer when he saw Luo Xian's round breast in her bra and her slender, supple waist. The faint smell of a virgin came from Luo Xian's body, making Yi Mo's throat dry. He quickly said, it's done. At this moment, Luo Xian's face was also burning a little, but as soon as she put her clothes back on, Yi Mo asked, what else did your Big Marshal Sister say? Luo Xian came back to her sense and sniffed. I said, second Marshal Sister hasn't come back. What do we do? Big Marshal Sister stayed silent for a long time before saying, second Marshal Sister is very smart. She should be fine. She told me to leave Chun and immediately and don't show my face, nor go look for her or try to go back to the sect. At the same time, she said not to believe anyone. She even said not to trust her. Yi brother, why are things like this? Yi Mo had understood now. He sighed. When you first came to Inghua Temple and you saw your second Marshal Sister, did you tell her that you got the Ni Luo Sutra? Luo Xian wasn't dumb. She dazed upon Yi Mo's question, but soon her face went red. Yi brother, you're suspecting my second Marshal Sister? She definitely isn't that sort of person. We're like sisters. I'm sure she isn't this type of person. Before she finished, Luo Xian stopped. She had understood that not only was Yi Mo suspecting her second Marshal Sister, but her Big Marshal Sister was also suspecting her second Marshal Sister. It was just that the Big Marshal Sister didn't want to accept this fact. That's why she told Luo Xian not to even trust her own words, implying that Luo Xian shouldn't trust second Marshal Sister's words either. It was because big Marshall sister didn't want to accept this reality and wasn't completely certain that the second Marshall sister was responsible for this. Luo Xian's eyes suddenly showed extreme sadness and disappointment. She didn't want to accept the reality that her second Marshall sister wanted to kill her, and her big Marshall sister. She could only murmur, "No, this isn't real." Yi Mo sneered. "I don't know if it's real or not. Your second Marshall sister went to find your big Marshall sister, and it was just outside the Yinghua temple. How could she disappear? And I'm sure that your second Marshall sister wasn't going to find your big Marshall sister as soon as you came. It was after you said you found the Ni Luo Sutra, right? And do you know what wound is on your back? It's a palm print, a woman's palm print." Luo Xian could no longer hold the melancholy in her heart, and tears dripped down. She had never thought that the sister-like second Marshall sister would try to kill her. Before, they were all living together. Why were things like this? Yi Mo didn't mind Luo Xian's state at all, and continued, "It's because your big Marshall sister guessed this, then she told you to leave, and even carried you out 7 kilometers, and asked you to run away by yourself. If it wasn't that Lotus Life pill, your big Marshall sister would be dead for sure. But since big Marshall sister survived, why did she still leave me?" Luo Xian sniffed. She really didn't want to know these were real. It's because she was marked. If she stayed with you, you would die as well. And if you haven't suddenly reached black level primary stage peak, then that palm would have already killed you. So the person ambushing you knew your power and was sure that palm could kill you. But she didn't expect you reached black level, and that palm actually didn't kill you. So, in this person's calculations, you and your big Marshall sister were both killed, but your power and Lotus Life pills saved your lives unexpectedly. Yi Mo said plainly, as though he had seen everything with his own eyes. Luo Xian was already very smart, and after Yi Mo's reminder, she put together all the things. Things were indeed, as Yi Mo said. She was dumbfounded, but she soon worriedly grabbed Yi Mo's arm. "Yi brother, quickly save my big Marshall sister. I know you're strong. She has been marked. What do we do?" Yi Mo smiled. "Luo Xian, don't worry. The reason your big sister was marked was because she knew the person who ambushed her had poison on the sword. That person could track your big Marshall sister by the poison. However, he didn't expect that my Lotus Life pill can erase any poison in a very short time. So you don't need to worry about her. Your second Marshall sister won't be able to find her." Luo Xian's hanging heart finally fell, but thinking about second Marshall sister's ruthlessness, she couldn't help to cry again. "You don't need to cry. Your second Marshall sister won't be able to find you and your big Marshall sister's bodies. Then they will look around everywhere for you two. You should think about how to escape from your second Marshall sister's hunt." Yi Mo glanced at Luo Xian and said, "You actually dare to come back here. I'm sure that your second Marshall sister will be able to find here soon." Luo Xian rubbed her eyes. "I don't dare to go back to school. And if I leave Chun, and I don't know anyone. I only know you and Ziyun. Ziyun is an ordinary person. I don't want to harm her, so I could only come back and wait for you here. I was thinking if you don't come back, I would go to Flowing Snake to find Su brother. I have nowhere to go." Yi Mo suddenly thought it wasn't right. If Luo Xian's second sister was coming for Luo Xian, then should have found this place ages ago. Did something happen in between? He looked at Luo Xian and said, "Since you came back, why don't you go back to your own room? Why are you in my place?" Luo Xian opened her mouth and hesitated for a long time before saying, "That elevator is going up automatically. I don't dare to stay in my room. So I hid next to your bed waiting for you to come back." Then Luo Xian looked worriedly at Yi Mo and found that Yi Mo didn't blame her. She relaxed a little and immediately flipped open the quilt on Yi Mo's bed. Soon, she pulled out a yellow paper from under the quilt and gave it to Yi Mo, This is the paper I took from the upper half of the Luo Sutra. Here, Yi Mo took the paper in joy. He didn't expect Luo Xian to take the thing out first and hid it under his quilt. He immediately burned the yellow cover showing a golden paper. Yi Mo stared at this paper for a long time before saying to Luo Xian, "Thank you very much, Luo Xian." Seeing Yi Mo being so delighted, Luo Xian finally showed a little smile. She felt that was the most correct thing she did. The first thing she did after getting the Luo Sutra was to put this paper in Yi Mo's room and then go see her two martial sisters. "You saved my big martial sister, and this is something I should do," Luo Xian said. Yi Mo checked this golden paper repeatedly, and then took out a cloth, wrapping it carefully and putting it back in his ring. Then he said, "Not bad, you helped me out a lot this time. Okay, since you have nowhere to go, then follow me for now. After I'm done with my things, I'll send you back to your sect. But if they really did it, wouldn't they be waiting for us on the way? Big martial sister told me not to go back, no matter what." And Luo Xian said hesitantly. Yi Mo laughed pridefully. "They can stop other people, but no one can stop where Yi Mo, want to go. After I'm finished with the thing here tonight, come with me to Qiyang Mountain tomorrow, and then I'll send you back." Luo Xian shook her head and said, "I don't want to. Even if you can send me back, I still need to find my big martial sister, otherwise I can't rest easy." And why are you going to Qiyang Mountain? Of course, to annihilate the He-Lu sect. What? If you're scared, wait for me here. Yi Mo said with a smile. He knew that Luo Xian wouldn't dare to wait for him, here by himself. As expected, Luo Xian said, "I'm not staying here, I'll go with you. I'm also black level now, perhaps I can help you a little." "Okay, in that case, let's go upstairs first." Yi Mo nodded and said, "Why are we going up there?" Luo Xian immediately looked vigilant. Yi Mo smiled plainly and said, "Of course we're going to annihilate the ghost." Luo Xian hesitated for a moment before saying, "But that ghost is too strong. My master said I have spirit eyes, but even I can't see it and was hurt by it. I think we shouldn't go up." Luo Xian hesitated for a moment before saying, "But that ghost is too strong. My master said I have spirit eyes, but even I can't see it and was hurt by it. I think we shouldn't go up." Yi Mo smiled. "Okay, then wait for me here. I'll go up and capture it, then come down. I think I should go up with you. One extra person, one extra share of power." Luo Xian immediately changed her words. If Yi Mo wasn't coming back, she really didn't want to stay here. She wasn't afraid of ghosts, but it was another thing when she couldn't even see the ghost. And that ghost didn't even seem to be scared of the peach with sword. "Don't worry, I have a good idea of what it is. I'm just going to confirm. If I'm right, that ghost had left. I'm just going to see again in the elevator." Yi Mo smiled and comforted Luo Xian. He really did guess what that thing was. After seeing Nie Shuang's letter, Yi Mo guessed that thing might be the pet she had before, Luan. Because Luan could camouflage, she changed into the same color as the elevator and stuck to one corner of it. People wouldn't be able to notice it at all. After he saw Nie Shuang's letter, he thought of this Luan. And when he checked the elevator before, there was one part of it that did seem to protrude, but he didn't take note of it. Now that he thought of it, it was probably that thing. Now, he was just going to confirm it. As for why Luan would come here, Yi Mo guessed that it was probably related to the red-robed woman he killed. After Luan escaped, it needed to devour spirits. Since the red-robed woman was here, the yin qi here was very strong and attracted Luan. Perhaps that red-robed woman wanted to capture it. Of course, it might be the other way around. After Luan came, the red-robed woman was attracted by it. "Ye brother, Do you really know what it is? Is it not a ghost? Luo Xian asked in surprise. No, this thing is much scarier than ghosts. Yi Mo nodded. The elevator stopped on the 8th floor, and Yi Mo and Luo Xian went in. Yi Mo pressed the button for the 12th floor and kept an eye on the surrounding walls. As expected, he noticed some faint yin chi next to the buttons. Yi Mo knew this was where the thing attached to, and because it hadn't left too long ago, there was still yin chi attached to it. Did you find it? When Luo Xian asked, the elevator had stopped at the 12th floor. Obviously, she was very anxious and didn't even notice that she was grabbing on to Yi Mo's sleeve. Emicham, Yi Mo stepped out of the elevator and said, Yes, I found it, but it probably have left. It's a very vicious thing. It feasts on bleak and evil chi, and it's murderous. Originally, there were ghosts here, but after I killed them, it couldn't stay, and left. Luo Xian seemed to have understood something and asked, You killed them? I was pushed out by a very strong ghost that day on the 9th floor. Did you kill that? No wonder I didn't see it again when I went up again. Yi Mo jumped onto the top of the building and once again felt the light breathe. He exclaimed. He had only been here a bit more than a year, but during this time, too much had happened. Luo Xian also followed up to the top and relaxed down. She saw Yi Mo standing there in silence and walked by his side and asked, Yi brother, what are you thinking about? I'm thinking. Yi Mo hesitated before saying, Luo Xian, if one day you really like a man, would you forget about him if you lost your memories? Huh? Luo Xian felt caught off guard. She blushed and immediately said, Yi brother, what are you saying? I'm a Dao cultivator. Why would I suddenly like a man? Yi Mo nodded subconsciously. That's right. You're a Dao cultivator. My question was too abrupt. Yi Mo looked into the distant stars and lights and was lost in thought. Luo Xian looked at Yi Mo's despaired face and dazed eyes and didn't talk. She just stood at the top of the building with Yi Mo looking out into the distant lights. After a long while, she found that Yi Mo was still in that position and asked worriedly, Yi brother, did you lose your love? I don't really understand these things, but I've been in the uni for 2 years. I've seen quite some students who have lost their love. They seemed really sad. MHM. A bit like you. Lost love. Yi Mo murmured. Did he? Then he shook his head. I don't know. Yi Mo suddenly thought of something and looked at Luo Xian and asked, By the way, you said you're a Dao cultivator. What sect are you from? Luo Xian hesitated for a brief moment, but didn't hide it. My sect is called Ci Hengjing Monastery. It's a very ancient sect in China. Ci Hengjing Monastery? Why does it seem familiar? Yi Mo repeated, and immediately remembered that at that social night he saw a stall called Ci Hengjing Monastery. He didn't know if the two were connected, but Luo Xian said slowly, If you have heard this name, it's very normal because long ago the Ci Hengjing Monastery was outside and wasn't in the small world. Sects going into the small world were only in the recent few centuries. I don't know the specifics too well, but that Ni Luo Sutra is a very important book our sect left outside. Yi Mo nodded and fell silent. He didn't ask more. He didn't care about that too much. He believed that although there were things in this world that could threaten him, there wasn't much. Seeing Yi Mo falling into silence again, Luo Xian asked, Yi brother, I know you're a great person. What is your dream? Dream? Yi Mo frowned. His dream was, of course, to reach long life with Luo Ying and stay together forever, or even ascend to an immortal, but now he knew that was an absurd dream. Although he had started his company and was prepared to use that to gather wealth for him and Luo Ying to cultivate, he knew that he would be hugely lucky if he even reached foundation establishment. What about Luo Ying and Qing Xue? If he didn't meet Qing Xue or have that much connections, then he wouldn't care. But now, even if he found Luo Ying and stayed with her, could he really let Qingxue go in his heart? It was this hard for him. Perhaps his mind state still needed ascension. After long, Yi Mo sighed. My dream is very hard to realize. Luo Xian looked sympathetically at Yi Mo. Although she didn't know what Yi Mo's dream was, but it must be related to the girl that lost her memory he mentioned before. She sighed. Yi brother, sometimes we don't need to think too much. Before, I was cultivating in my sect. I was very innocent, but coming out to this world, I realized there were so many unfathomable things outside. I think that if we were still in our sect, my second martial sister wouldn't do such thing for sure. She was tricked. She was tricked for sure. Talking about her second sister, Luo Xian's mood fell despondent again. Yi Mo smiled. If your second sister is really as what you think she is, then she wouldn't be tricked. Never mind. You should stop thinking about your second martial sister. You still haven't said what your dream is. Luo Xian said slowly, before, my dream was to cultivate diligently and reach the highest great heaven state. That day when I stood at the top of this building, I suddenly thought, if only I could fly one day. Perhaps that is my dream. I think my dream would never be realized because I know that's impossible. So, Yi brother, dream and reality are two different things. Even if it can't be realized, it's good to think about it frequently, just like me now. I'm standing here imagining that I'm flying, and I feel a lot better. Yi Mo shook his head. Luo Xian, perhaps your dream can be realized, but my dream can be never realized. Are you talking about taking the plane? I've taken it before. But it feels no different to riding a car. I don't like that way of flying. Luo Xian shook her head. Let's stop talking about these. I'm going to Qiyang Mountain. Come with me. Yi Mo cast aside those thoughts and said, of course, from now on, wherever Yi brother goes, I will follow. Luo Xian said without hesitation. Her big martial sister wasn't here, and she couldn't live here by herself. Yi Mo shook his head, however, and didn't talk. What's wrong, Yi brothers? Luo Xian immediately asked. Yi Mo smiled and said, I'll say something, but don't reply casually. If I jump off the building, will you jump off with me? So, of course, if Yi brother is going to jump off the building, I will jump off with you. But I know, Yi brother, you won't. Before Luo Xian finished, Yi Mo had already jumped off. Huh? Luo Xian's mind went blank. She didn't expect Yi Mo would really jump off. She thought Yi Mo was joking. Why is it like this? Luo Xian's mind went blank. There was only one sentence in her mind. Don't reply casually. If I jump off the building, will you jump with me? Why is it like this? Luo Xian's mind went blank. There was only one sentence in her mind. Don't reply casually. If I jump off the building, will you jump with me? Yi brother jumped off because he lost his love, but I promised him that I would do whatever he did. The thoughts flashed across her mind like lightning while Yi Mo fell down like a comet. In Luo Xian's eyes, the only one she could rely on now was Yi brother, but Yi brother actually jumped off the building. Her mind got blank. She suddenly thought, did Yi brother jump off because that woman promised him something but dumped him in the end? But I also promised him as well. The word promised kept ringing her mind. Was he going to be cheated again? At that instant, she didn't want to think about it anymore. She just closed her eyes and jumped off like that. The fresh wind brushed past her, and she actually felt some sense of satisfaction. Although it was a very short time, she finally realized her dream before her death. She managed to fly for a brief moment. In that instant, she actually felt tranquility and didn't have fear in her heart. She didn't want to think about anything in that moment, whether it was Yi Mo or her sect or her two martial sisters. No wonder Yi brother said, perhaps my dream could be realized. Although it was a very short time, but it was realized indeed. But what was Yi brother's dream? Luo Xian suddenly felt strange. She should have fallen on the ground long ago. Why was she still not on the ground? She opened her eyes and yelled out in surprise. Yi brother? Did we all die? How come I don't feel the pain of falling on the ground? Then she subconsciously looked down and realized that she was getting higher and higher, not falling lower. What was this? Yi Mo stood in front of Luo Xian with his hands behind his back and said with a lonely tone, Luo Xian, thanks for jumping off with me. Let me help you realize your dream. Now, you can fly in the skies. Luo Xian dazed for a really long time before reacting. She looked at the endless sky underneath. It was like a dream. She looked at Yi Mo and asked, Yi brother, are we really flying in the sky? Yi Mo smiled plainly. Yes, we are flying now. Yi brother, are you an immortal? Luo Xian dazed and asked with more shock. She had long known Yi Mo wasn't ordinary, but had never expected him to be this extraordinary. Yi Mo shook his head. His expression grew sadder. Immortal was his goal, but he and this goal were tens of galaxies apart. He might even never accomplish this goal. He knew he wasn't an immortal. Yi Mo didn't reply, and Luo Xian didn't ask. She looked carefully at where she stood and realized it was on the body of a huge sword. Where did this huge flying sword come from? She had never seen such a huge sword by Yi Mo. After the initial shock, she finally calmed down. Although she had too much questions, she knew these things weren't something she could understand. If Yi Mo didn't say, she wouldn't ask. She stood by Yi Mo and felt this peaceful night sky and the broad view. Light wind brushed past, and Luo Xian had this indescribable excitement and aspiration. After long, when Yi Mo felt his spirit qi depleting, he went back on top of the building again. Luo Xian stood on the top of the building. She didn't have any questions nor ask where Yi Mo's flying sword went. She just looked at Yi Mo and said, Yi brother, thank you. You fulfilled my dream. Although it was just one night, I'm satisfied. Yi Mo smiled. It's fine. I just happen to be able to do it, and you happen to be willing to believe me. Luo Xian's mind seemed to have suddenly matured a lot. For ordinary people, the hidden sex people were the apex and mystical beings, but to her, Yi Mo was also the apex and mystical being. She heard Yi Mo's words and smiled peacefully. I just don't want Yi brother to be disappointed again, or perhaps I didn't think too much at the time, and was just a sudden decision. If I had to do it again, perhaps I wouldn't dare to jump. Yi Mo looked gratefully at Luo Xian and didn't speak. Ning Qingshua's attitude after she lost her memory dealt him a heavy blow. It was something he couldn't let go, and now it suddenly got a lot better. Don't tell anyone about me. After a moment, Yi Mo said. Luo Xian nodded. Even if Yi Mo didn't tell her, she wouldn't tell anyone. Tonight's event was too shocking. If this spread out especially to the hidden sex, who knows how great rupture it can cause. Let's go. Let's go downstairs. Those people probably wouldn't be coming tonight. Yi Mo turned back and smiled to Luo Xian. Luo Xian dazed. She understood now that other than coming up to catch the ghost, he also wanted to wait for her second martial sister to come. Ooh, you stayed. Ning Qingxue felt the necklace on her chest, and her expression was lost. Ever since that day, Yi Mo left spitting blood. She started feeling this heartache, and wearing this necklace could ease that pain. But no matter how hard she thought, she couldn't remember where she bought this necklace. And that pill Yi Mo brought last time, ever since she ate it, not only did her skin get a lot better, she also had this immortal vibe to her. It was as though she was going to ride the wind and fly. Although Li Mumei asked a few times what was going on, Ning Qingxue wasn't willing to believe it was due to Yi Mo's pill. How could she have any associations with Yi Mo? What sort of a person was Yi Mo? Although Ning Qingxue wasn't too clear, she could understand through what others thought of him, and she also knew that the marriage between them was due to family issues. But ever since Yi Mo was cast out by the Yi family, the Ning family had never mentioned the marriage between her and Yi Mo. Did something really happen in this year? Ning Qingxue frowned and sat there dazedly for a long time until Li Mumei came in. Qingxue, let's go out for a walk. It's not good to stay inside all the time. Li Mumei said worriedly to Ning Qingxue. Ning Qingxue shook her head and said, Mumei, I really don't believe that there's any connections between me and Yi Mo. But why did he come to you state? Li Mumei's face seemed morose. She didn't want to explain anything to Ning Qingxue. Some things it was better to stay forgotten for Ning Qingxue. Her mother was right. Since Ning Qingxue stayed with Yi Mo, she was heavily injured twice. And Li Mumei also knew that Ning Qingxue probably went to Flowing Snake alone once. Although she didn't know exactly what happened, she knew it wasn't simple. Seeing that Li Mumei didn't talk, Ning Qingxue sighed. Is there really something I don't know? Li Mumei sat down. Qingxue, don't think too much. In the past year, you've seen Yi Mo a few times. I think he probably fell in love with you. Ning Qingxue nodded. She knew about herself. She knew that she was too pretty, and was getting even prettier recently, but she really didn't care about that. What she cared about was accomplishing a successful career. Since her parents already left the Beijing Ning family, she needed to do something for the family. That was her goal. It was very normal for Yi Mo to fall in love with her, but it was impossible the other way around. Seeing that Ning Qingxue seemed to have agreed with her words, Li Mumei felt relieved. Okay, Qingxue, I'll take you to see some old friends in Beijing. It's not good to always stay here by yourself in your state. Ning Qingxue shook her head. Mumei, I don't really want to go to Beijing. I don't like that place. Mumei, do you know where this necklace came from? It's really good. I can feel it curing my heartache. Li Mumei looked worriedly at Ning Qingxue's necklace. Although she didn't know where it came from, she was certain it had something to do with Yi Mo. I'm not too sure. I think you probably bought it in Beijing. But this necklace looks really good. If you remember where you bought it, even I want to go buy one. It seems to be made from warm jade. It's really pretty. Li Mumei liked this necklace, even though she knew it was related to Yi Mo. Ning Qingxue put the necklace down and said after a while, Mumei, I've searched for some cases of memory loss on the internet. If it's a really soul-etched memory, then even if you lose it, you will have some impression, but I have no impression for Yi Mo at all. This means that although there is him in my lost memory, it's not very important. So, I don't really mind if I can recover this memory or not. You don't need to worry. Ning Qingxue saw the worry in Li Mumei's eyes and comforted her. Li Mumei thought and agreed. If Qingxue was really deeply in love with Yi Mo, then how can she have no impression at all? Perhaps Qingxue was right. Was she tricked by Yi Mo's sweet words during the days she stayed with him? Thinking about this, Li Mumei wished she could tell Qingxue's mom immediately. Maybe they thought wrong from the beginning. Li Mumei suddenly thought of something and asked Ning Qingxue excitedly, Qingxue, do you know the Juyin Temple? Ning Qingxue shook her head and said, I don't know Juyin Temple. What about it? Ning Qingxue shook her head and said, I don't know Juyin Temple. What about it? Li Mumei said mysteriously, however, in Luotsang, they built a new temple called the Juyin Temple. It has the two mottos on the door, lost in the deep clouds. Awaken at this temple. It means that if you have any questions you are confused about, you can burn some incense and worship the Buddha in this temple. I heard it's very real and is very popular online. I heard that the lead monk of this temple is called Wu Ming. He's a very capable monk. How about we go to this temple and burn some incense? Just think of it as a holiday trip. Ning Qingxue asked confusedly, a newly built temple is very popular? Would it be some intentional spin on the internet? Li Mumei shook her head and said, That I don't know, but I heard that an old monk in the temple said he attained Tao in Luo Tsang. So he built the temple in Luo Tsang. Ning Qingxue said nonchalantly, in that case, let's go see it. IVT's very close to you state. Luo Tsang. Compared to a year ago, this place seemed a lot more populous. Many people said it was due to the Ju Yun Temple. Ever since the Ju Yun Temple was built here a few months ago, the tourists here increased drastically. When Ning Qingshu and Li Mumei came here, they found it to be very busy indeed. It wasn't any inferior than you state, which was a big city. Ju Yun Temple was indeed very popular, and they had to line up to burn incense. Although it had only been built for half a year, a long street of incense and offering shops had been set up. It was very busy, and most tourists would come here to burn incense, and then go into the temple and ask about their troubles, or make a wish. Before they left, they would buy a few artifacts from here for good fortune. After the two had requested to burn incense, the line had reached all the way to outside the temple. In this era, there was actually no one cutting in line. They all had a pious look on their face. Was it really that powerful here? Ning Qingxue looked at this long line of people and felt dubious. An old man with a broom stopped by the two suddenly. Ning Qingxue looked at the old man in surprise. He was in his 70s but looked very strong. He glanced at Ning Qingxue once and closed his eyes. There seemed to be a lot of monks in this temple, but there really weren't many holding a broom like this 70-year-old monk. Just when Ning Qingxue and Li Mumei didn't know what this old monk was doing, this old monk suddenly opened his eyes and said, I am Wu Guang. You two honor patrons need not to line up. You can come in and make offerings with me. Li Mumei looked vigilantly at the old monk. Other people had to line up to burn incense. Why did they not have to line up? Qingxue looked so out of this world. Was this old monk scheming something? The old monk didn't seem to notice Li Mumei's eyes and just turned to leave after finishing. Ning Qingxue pulled Li Mumei. Let's go have a look. If we line up, we're going to wait for more than an hour. Li Mumei looked at the long line. They might not get to the front even in more than an hour. There were just too many people. Plus, this monk was so old that he couldn't have any bad intentions, right? The old monk took the two to the last Zen room. There was a Pusa painting in the room. The two couldn't recognize which Pusa it was. Master Wu Guang, didn't you say you were going to take us into burning offerings? Why did you bring us here? Li Mumei was getting more vigilant. Wu Guang monk put the broom down and said, Ai mi tua fo. Then he said to Ning Qingxue, Patron, you have fortune with a master who enlightened me. So I wish to help you resolve your problems, but before that, I need to see the necklace artifact on you. Ning Qingxue grabbed the necklace and said, Master Wu Guang, are you talking about this? Ami Tua Fu. Wu Guang monk continued, Patron, you need not to take it down. I've confirmed it. Okay, you may talk about what confusions you have. Ning Qingxue looked at the Wu Guang monk in surprise. How did he know that it was she who needed help, and they weren't just here to burn offerings? Li Mumei could also see that this old monk really seemed to know something. Before Ning Qingxue spoke, she intervened. A few months ago, Qingxue was unconscious due to an accident, and when she woke up, she lost years of memory, but everything of her was normal according to the hospital diagnosis. We wish to ask Master Wu Guang, can that memory be recovered? Ning Qingxue immediately supplemented, yeah, I've searched some cases about lost memory. Most of them remember fragments, but how come I remember nothing? Wu Guang monk sat on a cushion but didn't reply after hearing the two's words. Instead, he said, Patron, can you please tell me where you got this necklace? Ning Qingxue frowned. I don't remember where I got this necklace. If I do, I don't need to ask you. Have you cultivated ancient marital arts? Wu Guang asked, but then he shook his head. Even if she did, what could she have accomplished being so young? Looking at Wu Guang shaking his head after asking her that question, Ning Qingxue asked curiously. Master Wu Guang, I haven't cultivated ancient martial arts, but what has my memory got to do with cultivating ancient martial arts? Wu Guang nodded and said, Patron, you don't know. After people lose memory due to outside force, they indeed do retain fragments, especially the things you have a deep impression of. These memories will return with time. But this is definite. There are some memories that cannot be recovered and will not retain any fragments. Ning Qingxue said confusedly, but I didn't feel anything at all. If the people around me didn't tell that I lost memories, I wouldn't even know. And I've seen many Western doctors and specialists say that even if you can't remember it yourself, with people constantly reminding you about things you have a deep impression of, you will still feel familiar about it. There shouldn't be no impression at all. Ami tua fo. The monk called out again, and then said seriously, you encountered a strong force that caused chaos in your spirit. I shouldn't tell you this, but because you have a necklace made by a Qian Bei himself on you, and it's 10 times better than the best I have seen. What? Master Wu Guang, you say that this necklace is made by a Qianbei of yours? Who is that Qianbei? Ning Qingxue asked in shock. She saw that Wu Guang was already in his 70-foot. Wouldn't this Qianbei be 100? Wu Guang didn't answer Ning Qingxue's question, however. He just continued, when one cultivates ancient martial arts to a certain degree, you can attain inner qi, and when you reach a rather high state with the threat of death, you will subconsciously use inner qi to envelope the most precious part of your soul and your most precious memories. These memories will show up in your next life. Although you can't remember it completely, you will have some vague impressions. Of course, the pretense is that no one intervenes. But if you didn't die and woke up instead, then this enveloped memory wouldn't be remembered. It may even disappear slowly, just like what is happening to you. Ning Qingxue dazed for some time before asking cluelessly, but I've never learned any ancient martial arts. I don't even know what inner qi is. How can it envelope my soul and memory? Wu Guang nodded. Me tuo fo. Even if you cultivate ancient martial arts to a very high state, you wouldn't be able to do such thing, much less patron, don't even know ancient martial arts. I've only heard that this action not only has requirements for power, but also strict requirements for cultivation method. I also thought that a cultivation method capable of enveloping memories into reincarnation does not exist, but your situation is very similar to this case. Then, Master Wu Guang, if that's the case, how do I recover my memory? Although Ning Qingxue knew that this wasn't the case for her, she still couldn't help asking. Wu Guang said, unless you cultivate this way again, and reach at least the power state of the moment before you lost your memories, then your memories will recover automatically and your power will double up. But you may still remember nothing, but... Wu Guang hesitated for a long time, but eventually didn't continue. He said, 2 patrons, please. I will be doing work now. Then he closed his eyes and stopped talking. Ning Qingxue and Li Mume looked at each other dubiously and then bowed before exiting. After the 2 came out, they were still confused. What this old monk said seemed to be too metaphysical. Luo Xian looked at this haunted building she had been living in for a week and actually felt a little wistful about leaving. Although it was a short week, she had experienced a lot. It seemed that in the 2 years living at Chun'an, it wasn't as eventful as this week. Luo Xian looked at this haunted building she had been living in for a week and actually felt a little wistful about leaving. Although it was a short week, she had experienced a lot. It seemed that in the 2 years living at Chun, and it wasn't as eventful as this week. What are you thinking? Let's go. Yi Mo broke her thoughts. Luo Xian came back to her senses and nodded. Okay, let's go. Luo Xian, do you know where Qiyang Mountain is located? Although Yi Mo didn't know where Qiyang Mountain was, he believed that too many people would know, and he only needed to ask. It was just like how he didn't know where Shinongjiao was, but he could find out by searching online. Luo Xian shook her head and looked at Yi Mo strangely. I don't know, Yi brother. Do you not even know where you are going? I've been in Chun, and for 2 years, although I don't really go out, I heard most of the famous mountains in China. I've really never heard of Qiyang Mountain. I thought it was a place I haven't been. Yi Mo thought, was he tricked by Hong Si? But Hong Si's tone and attitude couldn't be lying too at the time. Because he was talking with this sister at the time, he actually didn't ask where the Qiyang Mountain was. It doesn't matter. I'll ask someone later, and we'll know. Since it can have a hidden sect there, it must be a famous mountain. People would know. But then Yi Mo and Luo Xian asked many people, and even searched on the web, but no one knew Qiyang Mountain. Luo Xian also asked in confusion, Yi brother, could that person have lied to you? Yi Mo also said uncertainly, I don't think that person would trick me, but from what we've asked, there really doesn't seem to have a Qiyang Mountain. This is strange indeed. If he was really desperate, he could go to Beijing and ask Tan Jiao and Luan Qingfeng, but he didn't want to do that. First, the two might not be willing to tell, and Yi Mo didn't want to see that arrogant Tan Jiao again. Even if he didn't ask those two, Zhang Zhihui would probably know about it. He can go ask Zhang Zhihui. Yi brother, where are you planning to go now? Luo Xian looked at Yi Mo's face and knew they wouldn't be able to go to Qiyang Mountain. I want to go Ninghai first and ask someone I know about where it is. Yi Mo was unhappy that his plan was stopped. From his perspective, Hong Si even shattered his own dantian. How could he lie to him on this? If it was just by himself, Yi Mo would definitely step on the flying sword to Ninghai. But with Luo Xian now, that would cause too much attention during the day. And with his current qi reserve, it would be very exhaustful to bring Luo Xian with him to Ninghai. Although she knew Yi Mo could fly, Luo Xian didn't ask why Yi Mo was taking the plane to Ninghai. Since Yi Mo chose that, he must have his reasons. Although Chun an airport was very small, there was a lot of human traffic. When Yi Mo and Luo Xian walked into the airport, it wasn't empty at all despite it being the morning. Yi brother, what are you looking at? Luo Xian followed Yi Mo closely and noticed that Yi Mo had his attention on this middle-aged woman reading newspaper as soon as he came in. Yi Mo smiled. Luo Xian, did you see that woman next to the window reading the newspaper? Luo Xian nodded. I see her. What's wrong, Yi brother? Do you feel that person is familiar? Yi Mo continued to ask. Luo Xian shook her head in bewilderment. I've never seen this person, and I don't feel her to be familiar at all. But even so, Luo Xian still studied that woman carefully and was sure she didn't seem familiar. I'm sure you know her. That person is either your big martial sister or your second martial sister because she is masqueraded. Yi Mo said with certainty. It was because he felt a similar qi from this woman as he did with Luo Xian. This meant that their cultivation method was the same. Luo Xian also showed an expression of shock, but before she could talk, that middle-aged woman turned around. It seemed she noticed that Luo Xian was observing her. The moment she saw Luo Xian, she showed surprise and joy in her eyes, but it soon turned to worry. Although those eye expressions were very subtle, it fell clearly into Yi Mo's eyes, and he was more certain that this woman was related to Luo Xian. But as soon as this woman saw Luo Xian, she actually turned to leave. Luo Xian quickly followed without talking to Yi Mo. She was sure that this person was her big martial sister Luoyin. Yi Mo didn't follow. He looked around, and sure no one was stalking them before, standing at the side, waiting for Luo Xian. He was sure that woman was Luo Xian's big martial sister, and Luo Xian recognized her. If it was her second martial sister, Luo Xian will hesitate first and even ask him before going over. That woman came to a quiet corner and looked around waiting for Luo Xian to come over. She pulled Luo Xian over anxiously and asked, Luo Xian, how can you appear at the airport without any masquerade? Do you not want to live? Big martial sister, Is that really you? Luo Xian exclaimed in joy and hugged this woman. Although she didn't say it, she had always been worried for her big martial sister. Now that she saw her, of course she was very elated. Luo Yin also felt relived. She had been constantly worried for Luo Xian and now felt a lot more relived seeing her. But immediately she asked Luo Xian, "Who is that man next to you? You must not be like Luo Fei. If Master knew that 2 out the 3 of us who came out lost our virginity, she will be very sad." Luo Xian's face blushed and immediately said, "Big martial sister, what are you saying?" Ye brother isn't like the sort of person you're thinking about. He's very nice, and he saved me many times. Even that Lotus Life pill I gave you last time was from him. Who is he? How does he have such precious pills? And why would he save you? A man being nice to a woman is definitely no good. Luo Xian, you must not trust a man. Luo Yin said vigilantly. Big martial sister, Sai, even that Ni Luo Sutra was found with the help of ye brother. How can you say that about him? Although I don't know if men are good or bad, but ye brother is definitely a good person. Luo Xian immediately rebuked. Luo Yin looked at Luo Xian in shock and said after a moment, "Luo Xian, you have never rebutted my words before, but now for that ye brother of yours, you have done so twice. Is that ye brother really that good?" Luo Xian rubbed the edges of her clothes awkwardly and said, "Big martial sister, I really don't know how to explain it to you, but I believe him. He's not a bad person, and it was ye brother who recognized you just then." "What? It wasn't you who recognized me? He has such capabilities. Has he seen me before?" Luo Yin immediately became more vigilant. Then, as though she suddenly thought of something, Luo Yin said worriedly, "Luo Xian, you said that ye brother helped you find the Ni Luo Sutra, and he recognized me. Then could it be him that night outside the Yinghua temple? Luo Xian, you're too young. Don't believe strangers' words." As she spoke, Luo Yin's face became more and more serious. The more she thought, the more she believed that perhaps the Yi guy followed Luo Xian to the Yinghua temple, and then impostered as Luo Fei stealing the Ni Luo Sutra, and then found Luo Xian later. "Big martial sister, don't think like that. Ye brother isn't like that. Plus, even 1,000 Ni Luo Sutra wouldn't be worth anything in ye brother's eyes, much less one. Big marital sister, please, I beg you stop saying bad things about ye brother. He's a really good person. He's the best man I've ever met." In desperation, Luo Xian actually used the word man, but as soon as she said it, she noticed it and her face blushed. Luo Xian didn't want there to be any misunderstanding between her big martial sister and Yi Mo. From the bottom of her heart, big martial sister was the person she respected the most other than her master, while Yi brother was the person he admired the most. He saved her many times and was that nice to her. Plus, that Ni Luo pill wasn't worth anything to Yi brother. He could give the qi-increasing pill that was countless times more precious. Why would he care about a mere Ni Luo Sutra? Plus, Yi brother said the Ni Luo Sutra was useless to him, and the only valuable thing was the 2 golden paper, and she gave them to him. How could he still be interested in the Ni Luo Sutra? However, she could tell her big martial sister that. The made Luo Xian feel guilty for the first time because she hid something for her big martial sister, for Yi Mo. Sigh. Luo Yin sighed but didn't see anything. She could tell that this little martial sister of hers is admiring Yi brother to the bones. It was useless, no matter what she said. It was just that from the bottom of her heart she wanted the person who tried to kill them to be someone else, even that Yi brother rather than Luo Lin. "How you always been with Yi brother these few days?" Luo Yin asked casually. She could tell that her martial sister was still a virgin. This meant that they didn't do something over the line. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.